fabric from the land of the five rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
We back. Y'all already know what time it is.
Oh, you didn't know?
50-50.
Welcome to the 50-50 Show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider, the realest show for Raider Nation.
The perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
Make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, man. Hey, we back, man, for another edition of 50-50. My guy Severe in the building. Obviously, myself, PharoahNFL. It's Wednesday. Y'all usually used to seeing us on Tuesday, but we had to move some things around this week. It's the off season, but we're here. We're able to make it, man, we got some stuff to talk about this week. It's from mini camps to Christian Wilkins' injury. I don't know what's going on. Doesn't look too good, but we'll get into that. And obviously today I think the Raiders media were able to get some access at minicamp, and not rookie minicamp, the entire team for the most part. It's voluntary minicamp. I think they have a mandatory minicamp right before they have that long layoff before training camp. Yeah. At some point, I think it's in June, sometime in June. Right now it's voluntary, but they had a pretty good turnout. We'll get into that. And the usual flags on the plays and notable quotables and all that good stuff, man. But if like I said, man, if you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. But before we move on, man, hey, we got the night crew in the building, man. We got Steve pulling up. He says, yes, sir, man, my guy, man. Hey, Daniel Kim right after, man. Yes, sir. Salute, Pharaoh. Salute, Severe. Man, appreciate y'all, man, holding it down. The mods, man. We got everybody pulling up. We got Raider Resistance pulling up. Is it time to rise from the shadows once again? Hey, man, it sounds like a sequel to some movie. I don't know, man. But we got Michael Smith. Geno throws 7 picks, and Chip Kelly tells Genty to change his pre-snap stance, but he does it to read the defense. We're starting out just fine. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. We'll get into that, man. You make a valid you make some valid points here. Geno, it's early, but Genty, we'll get into that conversation in a little bit too. Super Omicron says Wilkins still gets the boot. No, he's still. I think early on he was in a boot, then they took it off, then they put it back on. But I think he's off the boot as of right now. But it's, I guess, let's not waste any time, man. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into the conversation real quick, man. Super Omicron, man, appreciate you coming through. We'll just start with Christian Wilkins. And Christian Wilkins, obviously, we first heard, it felt like, everybody kind of heard that, oh, man, Christian Wilkins got back into a boot. And, we all understand that he's a big dude, over 300 pounds, defensive tackle. And he had that, that fracture in his foot. So you could see how that could be a tough injury for him to recover from. And for him to go back into the boot, it's not something that, you would want to hear from a guy that, we're expecting big things from, especially for him as a defensive tackle with that defensive line, with Max Crosby, and then hopefully Kuntz, who's also still recovering. He was there. I think he was there at the presser. He didn't practice or do anything like that. So he's still in recovery mode. I think everybody's talking about Wilkins, but also Kuntz is still recovering. And he's not. He didn't participate in today's mini camp. But the story with him is that he, and this is from the Raiders beat writer. He got into a boot. They took him off a boot, and they put it back on, and now he's off of it. So I know the way the news lately was like, oh, the way they reported it seemed like he went back on it just like recently, like he's on it, he's on the boot right now. But I don't think that's the case. But I mean, Severe, man, what are your thoughts on that, man? Like Christian Wilkins, the over $100 million contract, I think. Didn't he get like something crazy?
Something crazy, yeah.
Crazy deal. Some people might say the Raiders overpaid to get him because he's not, he's not like, it's not like he was an elite pass rusher. He did have like 8 sacks his contract year, but that was like his best year of his career as far as, getting to the quarterback and getting sacks. But a lot of people, who were criticizing the move when the Raiders signed him was like they overpaid for him. He's a great run stopper, but he's a good pass rusher. He's not a great pass rusher. And if you're going to give that type of money to a defensive tackle, you want him to be great at rushing a passer. But, that being said, he did show signs of being a good player with the Raiders, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
And now he has this injury where, it's on his foot, and it's like, man, should we be concerned?
I mean, anytime you see a man, of that size, that weighs that much, that has to make dynamic movements, and he gets a lower body injury, there's always a concern, especially when you're talking about the foot, when, there's all these tiny bones, and it's so much goes into that healing process, and what the bones are already very thin. So, any kind of dynamic movement or any like wrong movement, you can potentially re-injure it. So, they gotta kind of manage it and take it slow. That's why, excuse me, I'm not opposed with the approach they're taking. Just be cautious, right? Like we're in May. Like season don't start till September. So you got almost 4 months. So don't rush them. You know, if you need to use a boot occasionally to manage it, to manage the injury and ensure the healing and ensure you're not putting too much pressure on that bone, make sure the bone is stabilized and healing properly. If you got to do that from time to time or on occasions, like that's what you got to do. You can't be worried about the optics of it all. You just got to be worried about, hey, are we doing the best for Christian Wilkins and for this particular injury to maximize his ability to be able to play an entire 17-game season? And if they feel they're doing that, I'm cool with it. Just take it slow.
Yeah, Steve pretty much literally repeated the same sentiment. He said, take it slow with Wilkins, Trent Brown, and Incognito injured week 1 vibes. Yeah, but I am kind of concerned, though. I'll be honest with you. I know it's early in the offseason, but I am kind of concerned that, like, that it's not an injury that you would want a big guy to have. You know, the foot injuries are tricky. Like, they don't go – it's almost like they don't go away, you know. And if you're a Raider fan, you know all about foot injuries from the Darren McFadden days. You know, that those – man, that's like those.
Jacoby Ford too. I think he had a foot injury. That's what kind of derailed him.
And I think, oh yeah, did he? Was it a Linsfranc injury or was it?
I know. I think McFadden had a Lins. I thought McFadden had the Linsfranc, or was it McFadden turf toe? One of them had Linsfranc.
I think McFadden had the Linsfranc, and I think the fracture. I know that obviously Wilkins has the fracture, but you're saying Jacoby had the fracture as well too on his foot.
Yeah, I know he had an injury too. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Okay. Yeah, man. So foot injuries are tough, man. So hopefully, you know, like Steve said, and obviously severe, like take it slow. But I'm concerned. I got red flag. This is red flag. Like, you know, the fact that and it's like Carroll was very careful about what he was saying. Like during the presser today, he was like, you know, it's a longer process than, you know, what we thought it was going to be. And, you know, he was being positive, which Carroll is usually a positive guy. So he's going to try to, you know, like hopefully, you know, we have plenty of time. We're going to use all the time. But, man, they're concerned. You could tell, like, you know, the way it wasn't one of those, oh, he's fine. He's good. It was like, yeah, it is taking longer than expected. But, you know, we got some time. We're gonna take advantage of that time, but we'll see. You know, we gotta be careful and like and we'll get into it. We actually got what's real, what's not, and we'll check back with this conversation a little bit later. But if you haven't already, make sure to click in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. What were you about to say?
And speaking of foot injuries, I'm like a foot injury is the reason that people tell me Tyree ain't turned into the superstar he was supposed to be, right? Like they still using this.
That's right.
They still using this foot injury from years ago. The reason. Yeah. So you know, apparently
he had foot injuries. Did he had a fracture too? I think he had the same.
I think he had a fracture too. Yeah, I think he had a fracture too. I don't know if it's the same one, but he had a fracture too. So, hey, you know, apparently foot injury. You got a foot injury. That don't allow you to learn no pass rush moves. So that's what, you know, if your foot is hurt.
Yeah, man. I was kind of surprised, man, because RIP to Jim Irsay, man, the owner for the Colts.
I heard that.
They announced he passed away at 65. Like he died pretty young. I mean, you know, especially in today's day and age. I mean, but
especially when you got that kind of money.
Yeah, I remember Jim. Nah, no, right? He got the forever money. Damn, he funny, bro.
He got that black market organ money.
Man, what's that movie? Get Out. Was it Get Out?
Yeah, exactly.
He got that Get Out money.
Facts.
Oh man, but yeah, I remember Jim Irsay, man. All those great Colts teams led by Peyton Manning, and then obviously, you know, transition to Andrew Luck. We're like, damn, like, you know, and then obviously once Andrew Luck retired, you know, it caught everyone by surprise, so they kind of went through those dark years. But Colts as an organization, they find a way to be somewhat competitive. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they were at their peak. Peyton Manning led team, like they're a tough team to beat because Peyton Manning was one of the best quarterbacks in the NBA, not the NBA, but the NFL. But even now, like, they got some talent. I mean, AR ain't the guy that they thought he was going to be. I mean, at number 4, but
Hey,
we'll
I was
see,
just about
man.
to say that.
Daniel Jones. Was Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones is there. Yeah, Daniel Jones is there. Like man, that's like that has to be terrible. Like to know like the last quarterback he saw really was supposed to be the franchise guy for his team was Anthony Richardson. Like and then you die. Like that's a tough way to go out, man. Like Anthony Richardson was supposed to be the franchise, and that's like the last guy you gave the mantle to, and then you die after that. That's rough. That'd be like, oh man, that'd be like, man, he didn't. But I say that would have been like if Al died like right after Jamarcus Russell. But obviously he was there for Jason Campbell and Bruce Gronkowski. But like if he like drafted Jamarcus Russell and he was like trash and he like
his last draft pick was Terrell Pryor.
Terrell Pryor, yeah,
And they said that he was at the day before he died. He was at a practice and he seen Terrell Pryor throw the ball. And I'm just bad joke, y'all. Terrell cannot. He was not an accurate. I literally was like I was like, oh, we got our own Cam Newton, but
that's what I thought too, man.
Whew.
That's what I thought too.
Man, I was really I still am. I'm still hoping like we can get some type of like our version of our athletic quarterback. Because imagine every Sundays it'd be.
What you talking about? We hoping. It's Geno Smith got an 89, baby. What you talking about?
89 Madden speed don't count,
Geno
man.
Smith got an 89.
That's one of those, like someone who does the ratings for show, like took a day off, like he put it on automatic. I don't know what he did, but that does not make any sense. Because if you got Geno at 89, and then where do you have? Did I tell you if someone else was 89? Who was 89? And we know that he was clearly faster than him.
Geno Smith gonna have a higher speed rating than SNGT.
AR-15, AR. He's not even AR-15 no more. He's AR-5.
AR-5.
He went out tough with that one. Like, come on, man. You got to stand on principles with AR-15, man. I don't know what he was thinking, but he's 90. Anthony Richardson is 90 speed. We all know that he's way faster than Geno.
He is faster.
Way faster. But
Hey, this will be a question. People probably already know the answer, but who's gonna have a higher speed rating, Geno Smith or Ashton Genty? Geno gonna have a higher speed rating than Ashton Genty. Watch.
Nah. Genty for sure gonna be faster. Genty gotta be faster. Come on, man. Let's see how it looks like in preseason. I mean, are you think they're gonna give him an opportunity to show what he can do in preseason, or are they gonna wait till they're gonna give him the Brock Bowers treatment last year? Now Brock Bowers like literally did not play.
But Brock had an injury though, so that was different.
Yeah, he like did he even play a preseason? I don't even think he had it. Did he have a snap in preseason?
I think he did. I think preseason. I think week 2. He didn't play week 1. I think he played a little bit week 2, and not at all week 3, if I recall correctly.
Yep, man. Salute to everybody pulling up. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And we got everybody pulling up. Man, Chris he says pleasure meeting you. Oh man, that was we gonna have to give you. Sorry, man. I don't, you know what I mean? Oh my God.
Nah, man. Okay. Oh my God, Chris Raiders, man. Salute to what's going on with my dog, man. Chris Raiders is cool.
What was going on? What was going on in Bakersfield, man? I don't know if I want to know, man. I don't. I wanted to go, but now I don't know. Man, nah. Bakersfield's movies. This probably has nothing to do with anything, but he just says movies.
Yeah. Oh, because our last show.
This probably has nothing to do with anything, but he just says movies. Oh man, my bad. But go ahead. What you about to say?
Because our last show, we went on that tangent. That's why he put movies and he put the popcorn, bro. Because he was trying to get it. He was trying to get some stuff started.
Yeah, man. I got you, Daniel, man. Hey, look, I'm gonna have to start a YouTube channel for movies, man. Man, that's But
Nah, man,
hey,
nah.
we went on a crazy tangent. That was a crazy tangent last week. But hey, look, hey, it's off season edition. Stray Billups says R.I.P. Terrell Pryor. Oh no, come on, man.
Yeah, don't put that on Terrell, man.
Yeah, come on, man. He said R.I.P. Terrell Pryor.
My God, nah. I got to meet a few people at the Bakersfield event, man. Christopher Raiders. I got to meet Jack Kenna, Sacktown Raider Mike, Mark, Raider Mark. There's a few other people I met. A few other people said they watched the show. I didn't catch their name. One particular dude said, "Hey, you know what? He works the graveyard shift. He's like, man, I be working till 2 a.m. Man, he's like, y'all be helping me get through my nights with those late night shows, man. So
that's what's up, bro.
Salute to you, man. So salute to you. Ironically, we're gonna get to this a little bit later, but there's a security guard that was working the door, that's working like the exit door to the back of the event. And my guy hit him with a smooth Euro step, and hit the layup on him. So, to be continued on that one. But yeah, no, man, it was hella cool meeting everybody at the event, man. People was asking me, did I play for the Raiders? I should have told them, yeah. my guy Daniel Kim was supposed to be there. I think Daniel Kim he couldn't make it. I think he said he had to take his daughter's camping or something like that. He had double booked, so. Looking forward to that's the second time we supposed to meet up with. I was supposed to meet up with Daniel Kim. We can't do it, man. So we got. I got to catch up with. with the mod guy Daniel Kim.
And just to keep it clear, you're to everybody watching, like, what event was it that happened last weekend that you?
This was the Raiders summer kickoff for 2025. It happened in Bakersfield, put on by the Raiders Crusaders. It was a smooth event, man. Jeremy Chin was there. He was there signing autographs. They raffled off some stuff there. JPJ's parents was there, man. Super, super cool people, down to earth. They wasn't around trying to flex on nobody. They was just, just mingling with Raider fans, just interacting, supporting everybody that had a booth there. If you were selling some merchandise, they were supporting you, man. So it was cool, man. It was cool. I don't know if Ray Pete was you there. I don't recall, man. But if he was there when we met, man, salute to you. But yeah, it was cool, man. It was cool.
Xavier says, "Can the Raiders strike some money off of Wilkins' contract?" I know Adam Butler effed his foot up, but geez, man.
Yeah, Adam Butler did jump on him. That's crazy, man. only the Raiders have stuff like that happen to them, man. It's like only us.
Rick Ross, you can call it Pharaoh Flicks. We'll figure it out, man. Hey, man, we'll get into that. We had a good conversation last. We'll bring it back too, man. It's off season, so we'll have conversations like that.
Now, Paul, we gonna put a pin. Did you watch that movie though?
You talking about Tenet? Tenet?
No, not Tenet.
I haven't had time. I haven't time to watch any movie lately, so Tenet. I'm gonna have to rewatch Tenet, but I'm only damn. It's crazy. Like, Tenet was when I watched that, I was like, damn, this is a waste. I just wasted. That's the feeling I wasted my life. I just wasted. But I'm gonna do this just because, Severe's like, you know what? This is a really good movie. You're saying it's a really good movie, really good performance. But I was looking at like Denzel's son, and that's disrespectful. He got a name. What's Denzel's son's name?
I think it's John David Washington. I think
John David Washington. I just didn't think he had a good performance, but when I watch it, we'll bring back this conversation. When I watch it, we'll bring back the conversation out, and I'll let you know.
I was talking about Sinners, but I know you ain't watched that either. But I rewatched it.
Yeah,
I rewatched Tenet. His performance was better than I thought it was. It's just like he had that one corny moment, but I was like, "Hey, he actually did a good job acting. It was better. It was better than I remember.
It was hella like it was. I don't know. Maybe that was his first like big break or something like that. I don't know. The connection to his pops. His pops been in the game for a minute. He's one of the legends out there. But man, I was looking. I was like, damn, bro. Like, you were not supposed. I felt like somebody else should have played that role or something. I don't know. Maybe. But that's a whole different conversation, man. But yeah, Sinners. That's another movie too. That I gotta watch for sure. Everybody said that's like legit. It's a good movie. So we'll save that. We'll save that conversation. When I watch it, I'll tell you my final thoughts, bro, and we'll talk some mess, man. Because You watch movies, man. That's my thing, man. Someone says, how tall is Severe? What do you like? 6'3", 6'4"?
I'm 6'4".
6'4"? Yeah, hey man, don't mess with Severe, man. He gonna come looking for you.
6'4". I
Raider
was like,
Pieces,
I don't know how tall Jeremy Chin was. I was basically eye to eye with Jeremy Chin though. I actually might have had him. I actually might be taller than Jeremy Chin.
Was Jeremy Chin out there? He was.
Jeremy
out there?
Chin was there. Yeah, he was there. Yeah.
Oh damn, that's dope. That's dope. And hey man, speaking of Jeremy Chin, he had a pretty good day of practice today at the mini camp. I think he had at least one pick. The Raiders defense had like 4 picks, 3 on Geno, and with three were thrown by Geno and 1 thrown by AOC. For all the AOC fans, like, like, hey, he only threw 1 pick compared to Geno. You should be the starter.
I already knew that narrative. I ain't been on YouTube today, but I'm sure some people are out there saying that. I'm positive.
Yeah. No, it's it is what it is. It comes with the territory. There's always going to be a certain portion of the fan base. They're going to like the backup quarterback over the starting quarterback until the starting. Because when the starting quarterback isn't like
elite.
Proven, or not elite, or not proven, or we haven't seen them win like consistent amount of games or anything like that, then there's always going to be a question mark. But Raider P says, I was not there, just saw the coverage here and there. Okay.
Sure.
All right, so he was paying attention, man. He was paying attention. Phil's not good enough to take anyone to the Super Bowl. Okay. Y'all having conversations here, man. Who's the wide receiver 2 and 3 for the Raiders? That's a good question. Obviously, we know Jacoby's starting. Jacoby Myers, he's going to be a starter. It looks like Jack Besh is the guy that they're probably going to pencil in as a starter, even though he's a rookie. And then, as much as we poke fun at Trey Tucker,
yeah, it might be him. It might be him.
Just due to experience and like it's his 3rd year. If he has a really good offseason, he might fill into that 3rd role. And I think his skill set kind of like fits in well with like the Myers, who's more of a possession, Jack Besh more of possession, and then you add him to the fold. He's more of a speedy guy. So I would think it would be him.
And Chip had success. Like I said before, he's had success, like utilizing guys with that same skill set. Shorter guys who aren't like the most natural wide receivers in terms of their route running and understanding of spacing and all that stuff, but who are fast. Who have great speed and who can get vertical. And he's good at designing plays to get these guys in open space and take advantage of their speed. So, if anybody can get something out of him, I think it's Chip Kelly. And then Geno has some experience throwing to smaller, receiver. He had success with Tyler Lockett up there. Jackson Smith and Jigba is not that big. He's bigger than Trey Tucker, but it's not like he's like some like 6'5", 6'4" guy, right? He's not a real tall guy either. So he's just coming off of having a receiving core with 2, guys who aren't super tall. So if anybody, like I said, if Chip can do it, if anybody can do it, Chip can do it.
Yeah. So we'll see. It was a rough start for Geno. Like I said, like he threw 3 picks today, but usually the defense is ahead of offense.
Yeah.
And in this case, you could understand why. I mean, Patrick Graham came back to coach the defense, his 4th straight year coaching the defense. I know the Raiders lost some players in the offseason due to free agency, but at the same time, like, this system has been in place for 4 years now. So at this point, it's going to be plug and play. And Raiders defense, in my opinion, they're going to be ahead of the curve, especially when you think about Chip Kelly. It's a brand new offense. They're going to have to get used to, what Chip Kelly wants out of that offense before they start playing fast. And it's early, man. I'm not really going to reading too much into this, man. I once training camp rolls around and then you go into training camp, maybe by that like 2nd. Now these days, it used to be that 3rd preseason game where you can really be like, okay, what kind of season is going to be? Oh yeah, it's going to be rough. You know what I mean? Like, or it's going to be good, But now with this preseason kind of shortened,
23,
it's more like that second game, right? The second game is kind of like the dress rehearsal before the season. But it's always good to pay attention to see who's balling out. Anthony Provencio says, is Thornton him? I think he had a touchdown today. Dante Thornton had a touchdown
good.
against Jeremy Chin, actually. Little corner route, but hey, look, they're competing. It's good that he's out there. He's out there playing with Gino.
Exactly.
So they might have some plans for Thornton. Like they're gonna try to have him contribute to this team. They're gonna use him. I don't think he's gonna be the number 3 receiver. I don't think he's gonna start, but I think he could come in and run those deep routes, which he's what he's known to do. He still has to develop a little bit as part of his game, but like I think as of right now, you could throw him out there and run some deep routes.
Yeah. Not facts.
Besh hype real. It sounds like it, you know what I mean? Like he seemed like he the real deal, but we'll see, man. It's a long off season.
Man. Physical receiver, good route runner. I expect him to be effective. I expect him to be effective. Can he be effective on the outside? That's the question. I don't know how he's going to do against press, especially with more athletic corners with a little bit longer arms, a little bit better recovery speed than when he was at TCU. So we'll kind of see. People always point to the LSU season when he led the team in receptions, but he did that basically at tight end. So can he win on the outside consistently in the NFL? That kind of remains to be seen. But I think he'll be an effective player though.
Man, people love that movie segment. Daniel Kim brought this up earlier, man. You hilarious. So did Eichenberg. Eichenberg had an interception.
Yeah, interception.
Hey, he's making plays. He had a pick 6. Severe, man. I know you've been critical. 5th round pick though. You know what I mean?
Was it the pick? Was it the pick 6? Yeah, was it the pick 6?
They said he had a pick, and it was obvious it was gonna be pick 6.
It's gonna be a pick 6. Okay, because I know it was a pass out to the flat to Bauer, so it's probably a situation where he probably jumped the route. So all right, for sure. But I don't know. Gino got 89 speed though, so he might have hawked him.
Jay Money says, y'all know how I feel about AOC GOAT status. Bro, come on, Jay. Come on, man. Come on, Jay. I know you trolling. He's trolling. He's just trolling, man. JR says Steve Harvey glued in hairpiece made him a horrible actor. Right. I thought Steve Harvey had the best hairline of all time, man, to be honest with you. Until he years later we found out that it was fake, man. That was crazy. It was one of the biggest shocks ever.
Yeah.
Steve says, I remember AP saying Tucker had the best offseason last year. I think Geno's is his best QB he's had in an OC that's... Yeah, hey, maybe you could speak to this. Chip Kelly is going to find a way to have Tucker be productive in this offense. He's going to find a way to use his skill set. He's the smallest receiver. You got to have like a creative offensive coordinator for him. Like,
yeah.
I think last year was tough, man, because, man, Gardner Minshew... Come on, man. Like, and the Raiders' offense was give the ball to Bowers.
Basically.
And
Bowers and Jacoby. Get a ball to Bowers, get a ball to Jacoby.
Yeah, and for the most part, they were open. You know what I mean? So they were getting the ball. Guys like Tucker suffered, especially when you have like bad quarterback play. The other guys kind of suffer a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll see, man.
Yeah.
We'll check back to this conversation a little bit later, man, about Tucker.
If Chip Kelly can't turn Trey Tucker into a productive player, having the experience he's had with guys like Logan Loya and Cashmere Allen, like guys who are small, like even Logan Loya is not even that fast of a guy, but Cashmere Allen is a super fast guy, really not a natural receiver, kind of more of a gadget player. But Chip Kelly was able to find usefulness out of him. If he can't get anything out of Trey Tucker is a lost cause. Like he's not going to be an NFL player for long.
Yeah. That's another thing too. Like, there's about how many receivers are going to make the team? Like 5, 6, around 5, 6,
5 or 6. Yeah, depending on how many tight ends we carry, but 5 or 6.
5, 6.
And depending on how many linemen
we drafted two. We drafted two this year. We got Trey Tucker already. We got Jacoby already. So that's like what? That's 4. Is there
drafted
anybody
3.
outside? You should say it again.
You drafted 3 technically.
Oh, Melot is gonna. You know what Melot's gonna be? He's gonna be. I heard he made someone fall. I heard he made. Was it Jeremy Chin? Was it Jeremy Chin? It might have been somebody. Who was?
Damn, we made Jeremy Chin fall. He having a rough day, bro.
Yeah, he had a rough day.
Yeah, they're getting cooked. Outside the interception.
No. But I think Melot.
I'm already getting cooked.
He made one of the corners fall. Oh, speaking of corners, Darian Porter was out there with the starters, which is like, okay, they already put him out there early. And from what they were saying, it was like he didn't make like any spectacular plays, but he held his own. Like he was
okay.
He was sticking.
That's all that matters.
Coverage was
but
sticking.
Who is he defending though? That's the question.
Yeah.
If you out there sticking Trey Tucker, you're like, I ain't impressed.
Yeah, it's true.
If he was on Jacoby, or if they had Brock Bowers split out wide and you hold your own, okay. Now we're getting somewhere. We out there locking up like Trey Tucker or Dante Thornton or Jack Bish. Like, all right, good job.
Yeah. But I forgot who Melot. Let me look this up. He made someone fall.
Was it like a good corner? I'm praying it's not Darnay Holmes, because it might be our starter at nickel. So if it's Darnay Holmes, we might be in some trouble.
Let me look at this real quick, man. I seen it.
Cooking Sam Webb.
Oh, he made Darnell Holmes fall on an in and out route for hauling the pass, which is not a good sign because Darnell Holmes is currently the starting nickel. Yeah,
likely.
So, yeah, like anything could change right now. I think these mini camps will determine what the Raiders do as far as free agency. Everybody's been talking about the Raiders are going to sign a wide receiver. Raiders are going to sign this guy. Why are they not? I think they're waiting to see how the guys look in these mini camps before they make a move for like a veteran, and maybe wait till training camp. You never know. Like players get cut.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. But yeah,
I forgot about him. Out there? Is your boy Amari still out there?
He's still out there. Still out there,
huh?
But Melot, what I was gonna say about Melot, I think he's gonna be that injury stash. I'm telling you.
Possibly. I can see that.
Like, Melot's missed his second straight package because of a sprained ankle, and all of a sudden the Raiders put him on IR. Stash him away next year because he development of top. He's not ready to go right now.
He's not ready to go. But I can see, because the thing about it is that it depends on how high the Raiders feel the rest of the league is on them. Because if they put him on a practice squad, the only way you can take him off the practice squad is if you sign him to the active roster. So if they don't think anybody is going to sign him to the active roster, then they can just stash him on a practice squad and not even have to worry about doing the whole IR thing. Because then if he does the IR thing, technically he can't like practice with the team and stuff like that. So if you really want to develop him, you put him on a practice squad, use him on scout team. Let him get some live, like some actual like reps where you can put him at quarterback. Let him play, Justin Herbert on scout team. Let him play like JJ McCarthy on scout team. Like let him do that kind of. All right, we don't play JJ McCarthy, but yeah.
So what you're saying he's going to make the team?
I think he's going to be practice squad. I don't know if he makes the 53.
But if he's practice squad, that means that he has a possibility of being taken from another team, and I don't think the Raiders want that, especially if he's.
Well, no, because with the rules now is that with the practice squad, if you sign him from the practice squad, you have to sign them to your active roster. So, like, how many teams are going to be willing to like sign a 6th round pick out of Montana State, who was a converted quarterback to wide receiver, and place them on their 53 roster like that next week? I don't think many teams are going to be willing to do that, especially considering like all these teams have like UDFAs and late round draft picks that they drafted themselves, that they might feel as good about themselves that they'd rather, hey, why would I'm going to take this guy that's spent all offseason in another team's program and sign him when I have this young guy developmental guy that we signed as a UDFA that's been in our program, that knows our system, has been working with our coaches. He's already here. So that's why I think like I don't think it's not as dangerous as it was before, where you can just like sign guys practice squad to practice squad. Now you have to actually put them on the 53-man roster, and I don't think many teams would be willing to do that.
I hear what you're saying, but it's still risky though. Still risky, especially if Mellott shows that he can be a contributor. Like he played well in preseason, but not like well enough. Like not better than Trey Tucker, not better than Thornton, not better than obviously Besh and Myers, and then whoever that fifth receiver is going to be. But you see the potential, like you see that, and if he shows that in preseason, you don't think other teams are going to see that? They might look at it like, oh, this is an opportunity to get some, especially teams who are desperate too. Teams are desperate to get some wide receiver talent due to injuries, due to decision making during the offseason when it comes to talent at that wide receiver spot. But I hear what you're saying. I get what you're saying. We'll see, man. We'll see, man. Hey, if you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Yeah, man. So defense is in the lead right now. They had a good day against the Raiders offense. Tucker, speaking of Trey Tucker, we kind of talked about him briefly. Like, he had the best play of the day on offense and defense. He had like a diving touchdown catch where he got his feet in as well while he was diving, which is crazy. I wish I could see the actual highlight of that, but obviously the media was there and they were able to report on it. But so Trey Tucker, I know we kind of talked about him, possibly having a big season with Chip Kelly, and if it's all on him to really find a role for him, but you don't see him starting on the outside.
Ideally, he's not the guy you start on the outside.
Because this is his third year. This is his third year. So Jack Besh, he's a rookie. At the end of the day, he's a rookie. Playing wide receiver is not easy. And Besh, you could put him inside. If you hear Steve Smith talking about Besh,
that's where it belongs. Yeah, he's tight end.
He called him a tight end, bro. Like that's why when he got drafted, I was like, I just kept thinking about like, damn, bro, like.
And Steve Smith was on point with his wide receivers takes. Generally, he's on point. Man, he's on point. And the thing about it is that usually receivers like Jack Besh are the receivers he likes. Like people who are like very technically sound, understand how to play those are usually the guys he gravitates towards. They usually like, hey, if you're a big athlete, those usually the guys he's like, you know what, he really don't know how to play the position. Kind of sloppy as a right. He usually is not as high on those guys as he is on the technician. So the fact that he was saying that about Jack Besh, who's a technician, who's a very good route runner, kind of understands how to play the position. The fact that Steve Smith was still like, yeah, he's not really like an outside receiver. He's like a big slot, tight end type. That was like, man, that's kind of rough. But Trey, in terms of Trey, I mean, he had to play outside last year down the stretch, obviously, due to the injuries and whatnot. So he already had some experience there. Even the year before, I think he spent like 45% of his snaps on the outside the year before. And it's not even counting last year. So he has a lot of experience out there. Still don't think, he's a capable enough outside receiver, in my opinion. I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he understands like positioning on the field good enough. I don't think he understands spacing. I don't think he is really that great at like beating certain defenses or understanding like where to sit down on his routes against certain coverages. So would I trust him outside? I mean, he'd have to improve a lot during these camps and in preseason, in my opinion.
Yeah, hey, we'll see. We'll see. Like you're right, we talk about Trey Tucker all the time. Like we hated the pick when it happened, but Raiders, he's on the roster. And the reason why we hated the pick, it was more so like, man, like I know obviously Severe, you like your favorite position on a football field is wide receiver. I love the wide receiver position as well, along with the running back position, but on offense, outside of quarterback and all that, we get that, but when I think of a Raiders wide receiver, I don't want him to be 5'2" with T-Rex arms.
Exactly.
Like, it's, man, because you got to make up for it. You got to make up for it. You got to make up for it. And he he ran a 4.4. I was like, man, at least run a 4.2.
Exactly.
Damn, like, you gonna be that small, man.
4.3s. You gotta be the 4.3s, like the low 4.3s.
Something, man. Come on, man. When they say he ran a 4.4, I'm like, man, come on, man.
Yeah.
But early on, like, Devontae Adams was like singing his praise. Like, man, I never seen a rookie be this prepared, this attentive. Like he really believed in like Trey Tucker. Like he kind of took him under his wing. So hopefully maybe that early on experience to be around like a guy that Devontae Adams. I know Raider Nation doesn't like to hear the name Devontae Adams, but he was a great player. I'm not taking that away from him.
Devontae Adams could have been trying to sabotage us though, low key. So you never know.
Yeah, Devontae, man. Let's
trying
not
to
forget.
sabotage. Like, oh man, Trey Tucker is that guy. He's like, he really that guy. He really that guy.
Right. But Daniel Kim says Tape Don't Lie had a pretty good breakdown of Porter. High potential that Porter can grow to be a CB1. Based on a lack of experience, he might get cooked on double moves. Yes, it's for him. It's probably gonna be a situation where they gotta throw him in there, throw him in the fire, and just let him grow from there. A guy who was thrown in the fire last year was DeCamerion Richardson. Yeah. Does he, take the next step this year? We'll see. But early on, yeah, I know, right? And early on, like Pete Carroll, during the pressure, he mentioned a few names. He mentioned Eric Stokes, a guy that's like kind of like, playing well. Who else did he mention? He mentioned he didn't mention Jacorian Bennett. He didn't mention Jacorian Bennett, but he mentioned Eric Stokes. Who else did he mention? But those are the guys that like Darian Porter. Obviously, he had Jeremy Chin. Obviously, he mentioned Landon Roberts. He mentioned Landon Roberts, kind of like
Roberts is nice,
which is good. It's good to hear because the linebacker position, that's probably one of the biggest concerns of the offseason of the season. Like, is the fact that like, we went from.
Did he mention Tommy Eichenberg though? Did he mention Tommy Eichenberg?
I think he mentioned the other Berg. No, I'm just playing. No, not at all. But we'll see, man. But to hear Stokes' name early on, that might be a sign that he might be in the lead to be that starting outside corner because he is a veteran too, and he wasn't he like a former first round pick? Yeah. Injuries kind of derailed his career a little bit, so we'll see, man. We'll see. Michael Mayer make an appearance? Nah, not yet, man.
Not that I know of. Yeah, I ain't heard anything about him.
Not yet, man. I think we'll wait till preseason and see. We'll see what this offense looks like too, man. Like, do you think Pete Carroll, or not Pete Carroll, but Chip Kelly would be able to utilize a talent like Michael Mayer?
Oh, definitely.
Like 12 personnel, like, try to get him involved. Yeah. I just feel like, man, like we haven't seen it. We just been waiting. Yeah. We've been waiting for maybe it's a situation like Kuntz. Remember, we were waiting for Kuntz because we seen the talent. We're just like, man, like hopefully he gets unlocked. And then, obviously Kuntz was able to like get 8 sacks in the latter half of like the 2022 season or 2023 season. And then, obviously the rest is history. We all can see like he's a talented guy on the other side. But maybe Michael Mayer finds a way to make some plays this year, especially with improved quarterback play. Chip Kelly, at OC. Yeah, might be what the Raiders are missing because when was the last time we had a good offensive coordinator?
Bill Musgrave.
Yeah, that's the 2016 years. 2016 years. Hugh Jackson, maybe, Hugh Jackson.
That was before, though.
But Hugh Jackson, I ain't gonna lie. Hugh Jackson, I was like, damn, like I ain't. When I seen him call plays, because before that, it was really some dark years.
Yeah, that's the bed and breakfast, though. That was the bed and breakfast, though. So it was the bed and breakfast years, so we can't even like. It was night and day. But yeah, like Hugh Jackson came in. I think he took us from like 28th in rushing to like top 10 in 1 year. But part of that was, like I said, that was bed and breakfast. So salute to my guy Chris from Raiders, man. He has a podcast too. Make sure you guys go over there and give him a follow. You know, he I think he does a show with Jeff and a few other people, man. So Jeff has been on our show before as well. So make sure y'all support those guys. But yeah, man, like I think Hugh has been like the best guy we've had for some years. Bill Musgrave was probably like the last good one. Tommy, you know, John Gruden had his time. All right, our offense wasn't. All right, our offense that first year under McDaniels, our offense wasn't bad. I think Josh Jacobs led the league, and Josh Jacobs led the.
We ran the ball well. Josh Jacobs ran the ball well. Josh Jacobs.
But even then though, we were top 10 offense. We were still like 19th or 20th in rushing. So the majority of those yards weren't coming like from Josh. Josh ran the ball incredibly well, but we still weren't a good rushing team.
I just felt like offensively, our passing offense wasn't that good early on. I think maybe it got better as I felt like the talent was able to get their numbers. You know what I mean? Guys like Josh Jacobs were able to get his numbers. Devontae, he's gonna get his numbers like just because they're gonna give him the opportunity to do it, and he's a great player. He's gonna take advantage of that. But I just felt like passing offense that year was off. And you know, Josh Jacobs, he was able to be like the biggest bright spot on offense that year. But John Gruden, the offense was cool. It was just when people forget how frustrating it was in those short yardage, red zone play calling. It was so annoying, bro. Like a lot of people remember all the good things about John, but like I hated bro, it was so predictable. Like when it was third down and short, third down and fourth down, or even in the red zone, we struggled. I just felt like we struggled in those areas. But like as far as like putting together the first 20 plays,
it's cooking.
Or I don't know. John, I feel like John know how to get a player in a position where he's going one-on-one against a linebacker. Like Darren Waller, he got him open. He got him kind of like if you're a wide receiver, you're gonna get your numbers with John. Or if you're a tight end or wide receiver, you're gonna get your numbers with John. I think John what Darren Waller had is best. I mean, he literally unlocked Darren Waller. I mean, before that, Tim Brown had his best years as a Raider with or one of his best years with John. I'm trying to think before. Amari got traded.
Amari got traded. Jared Cook played well for us.
Jared Cook, yep.
Nelson Aguilar.
Aguilar.
What's the old boy from that played for? Dang, did you play East Carolina too? I don't think he played. Did he play East Carolina? Dang, what's my man's name?
Who?
Zay Jones.
I never liked Zay Jones, but I feel like he maxed out. He
had his best years. He has best years with Groot.
Yeah.
He has best years with Groot.
Maxed out.
So
he was he was a good guy in the locker room. He worked hard. He was a good, but I never was like, damn, if Zay Jones is starting, that's not good. Let's see. Arizona sucked because Carr couldn't move under pressure.
It's part of it. That is part of it.
It's part of it, but
Carr, but we had that issue before though, so we couldn't attribute it all to Carr. But Carr was definitely a part of it.
I gotta look at the numbers again, but I think I seen that Gruden had this issue in the past too.
He did.
Pre Derek Carr, Gruden 1, version 1. You know, he had issue in the red zone. It was obvious, bro. It was certain times I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you calling? It was, but it's easy to. I know it's easy to criticize the play caller. I get it, but it just kept happening over and over again. At some point, you're gonna recognize a pattern. Law Dog says you guys are. It's gonna be hit or miss. It's gonna be dope. Yeah, man. We'll see, man. We'll see,
man. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you coming through, man.
Crabtree, Dart, Raider Dank Vader, Crabtree. I think he had some of his best years. I think he only had 3,000 yard seasons.
But that was with Musgrave though. That wasn't with Gruden.
Oh yeah, it was Musgrave. Yeah, it was Musgrave.
As soon as Gruden got there, Crabtree, he's like, hell no. Like, I don't know. Him and Gruden did not, for some reason, like it didn't work out. I don't know, maybe he rubbed Gruden the wrong way or something like that. But I think after the Raiders, Crabtree ended up going to the Ravens, and then after that, it was done. Y'all forgetting third? Oh yeah, Renfro.
Third Renfro under Gruden, under Gruden, he was cooking.
But we're gonna see what Renfro does with the Panthers, but he maxed out Renfro for sure.
Man, speaking of, man, I heard, man, it's my our fan favorite. I got one of my favorite guys. Anytime we did a mock, I damn near always took him. But Jimmy Horn Jr. Jimmy Horn Jr. I'm saying Joe Horn Jr. But Jimmy Horn Jr. He's killing. He's looking excellent. Like he's out there serving. Like I said, he's like the best.
And they took him in the 6. He took him in the 6. Which Raiders could have easily
Tommy Malott. We took Tommy Malott. Man, we always doing some stuff like that, man. But yeah, so but this is OTA, so I don't want to put too much into it. But you know, Jimmy Horn is a guy I liked as a receiver. I thought he was vastly underrated. And so I'm glad he's doing his thing. Like I said, he said he's looking better. He's like one of the best looking receivers they got out there.
Yeah, man. We'll see, man. But early on, like he's like that's been the talk of Panthers mini camp and offseason is like they really like him as a receiver, and that's a good thing for the quarterback over there. I mean, I feel like they're making a big effort in getting Bryson. They're making a big effort in getting him weapons. Because last year they drafted a receiver, what, in the first or second?
First.
Out of, was it? They trade up in the first? Yeah, yeah.
Out of South Carolina, yeah.
And then what, this year? Who did they get this year?
Teterow.
They drafted Teterow, yeah. They said Jimmy Horn is outplaying Teterow early on.
Playing Teterow, yeah. So
we'll see, man. We'll see how that looks like. But if you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Let's move along, man. It's that time, man. It is that time, man. It's flag on the play.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
So this week, man, Severe, if you want to lead the way and give us the first flag on the play. We got a couple today. Let's go with the first one. What's the biggest flag right now?
The biggest flag for me. My personal biggest flag. You know, I sent this over to Pharaoh. Actually, Pharaoh sent it to me too. So this is a flag collab. We both saw this. Now everybody saw the Raiders. They released a video today, and I don't know if anybody's familiar with. You know, if you're not familiar with basketball, it's players doing a Euro step. You know, Euro step is playing basketball. It requires some coordination, some nice footwork, some balance. Some fluidity. As you see it pictured here. You see Max doing it. We saw 76. That's Caleb Rogers doing it. We saw JPJ doing it. There's a certain player who doesn't fit any of the criteria. Look at this. Oh my God. Look at the start. The start was disgusting. And then Ja'Cory Bennett traveled. Like, oh my God, bro. You traveled like you James Harden. But look at this start. But how you get an offensive foul on the football field? This is terrible, and we wonder why Tyree ain't got no pass rush moves. Look at the start. He already looked bad. Just that first start, bro. Look uncoordinated.
That footwork, man.
Footwork bad. But you know, hey, he had the broken bone in his foot. Hey, he's still recovering. Yeah. 3 years later, he's still recovering. And I know Pharaoh, you thought the same thing. I immediately thought the same thing. I was trying to find the sound, but I couldn't find it. But we think back to when Nate Hobbs was on the Rush podcast with Max Crosby. I think they were talking about B-ball, and they were talking about who's nice and who will be on their starting five. And Max said obviously himself. He said Nate. I want to say they said Jacoby. I think they said Christian Wilkins too, if I recall correctly. I think they put Christian Wilkins on the team, and they were like, who will play? They couldn't figure out who will play the 5, and they were trying to throw out names. I think they threw out. Did they throw out Mayer? I think they threw out Mayer. I think they threw out somebody, maybe it was a Horsted too. And then they asked about Tyree, and they both laughed like, well, DC, you already knew, bro. You already knew. But they asked about Tyree. It's like, oh, what about Tyree? And they both was like, man, Tyree, he's the most rigid, uncoordinated. It's like they're just like low key going in, like not going in on them, but they were both like, nah, bro, Tyree, like he's so stiff as a player, bro. He could never, we would never put him on our hoops team, man. And you see as he struggles learning pass rush moves, like all this, it's not exactly 1-to-1, but having that footwork piece is important. Like you think about it, right? Remember when the Raiders had their little like team basketball or intramural basketball game, right? There was like Christian Wilkins was the best guy out there, and Christian Wilkins is a guy. Hey, he has pretty good footwork as an interior defensive lineman. Think about Khalil Mack. What sport did Khalil Mack play first before we started playing football? He played basketball. Same thing with, obviously he hasn't had NFL success yet, but Michael Mayer, he was a basketball player. Even Brock Bowers, he played basketball in high school, because a lot of those skill sets translate, just having that footwork and that coordination and that understanding of spatial awareness and understanding where your body is in respect to like your opposition and how to maneuver around them. And Tyree can't even do that unblocked. Now imagine him trying to do that while somebody is attempting to block him. It's not, I don't want to read too much into it, but it ain't looking good. It ain't looking good.
Nah, definitely flag on the play, but like
there you go, co-fathering him.
Yeah, definitely flag on the play. I agree, but it's a flag on the play just because. Yeah, obviously we've seen that he you can see like how awkward he looked trying to like do the Euro step, but it's more so I just, like you said, you brought it up. I just remember that clip. It was on Max Crosby's podcast. He had Nate Hobbs this last offseason, and they're talking about who they wanted on the hoop team and who would be a guy that you can know hoops, and like Tyree's name came up and they were like, no. It was like they laughed immediately. So, it's not the end all be all, but it's just it starts adding up. You know what I mean? Once you see them clips like that, you see clips like this, and you see like this, oh, I'm like, come on, man. But if Tyree's productive this year, has a good season, then everything we're saying doesn't really matter. But until that happens, like it just. That number 7 pick, that's all we're going to think about. Like, man, like what could have been, the Raiders could have went a different direction. They could have went Gonzalez. They could have went, hindsight is 2020 at the end of the day. You can always look back at a draft and be like, oh, we should have took this guy. But, and the Raiders were looking at corner. Their corner was at the time was being mocked to him. And I think a lot of people wanted the Raiders to pick was Devin Witherspoon.
Who took that guy? Ironically,
Pete Carroll. And then obviously Jalen Carter. That's like the biggest one, but there was no way the Raiders are gonna pick him.
Probably.
Which is bro. That came from up top, man. That came from up top, man. That came from Mark is like, nah, I ain't gonna deal with that. Like I own the team. I gotta deal with the backlash. Y'all just
I would have dealt with it, bro. They'll forgive me when we win it. Like when we start winning, they'll forgive me.
Right. Al would have did it though.
I would have did it. I would have walked up to the podium, flipping everybody off, making a pick.
I would have sold his soul. He was like, oh shit, yeah, ready for the Super Bowl.
Bro.
He gonna do it no matter what, man. But yeah, man, definitely flag on the play, but we're not done yet. We took one person we should have never have taken.
The one person, yeah.
But you know what? I gotta give credit to Severe, man. You called it from day one. You were just like, bro, like this dude, you did not like him. You didn't like his get off. And guess what happened? What was the one thing he struggled? Like that was everybody knew it. Like we could see, like literally they said hike and he was still in the stance.
Yes.
4-point stance. But yeah, man. Steve says Jalen Carter. Like, yeah, I know, bro. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. But let's move it along, man. We're not done yet. We got another flag on the play.
Yes.
And the next flag on the play is the owners recently put up a vote to get rid of the tush push. Like they're really trying to ban this play that, teams like most notably the Eagles, they're dominating right now. They're like winning. They just won a Super Bowl. Obviously. And I'm like, why are people trying to ban a play that we all know, like no one's getting hurt from it? It's just that the league can't stop it.
Exactly.
And the thing is, every team could do it.
Yeah.
But the Eagles just do it better than everybody else. And we talked about this for flag on the play in previous shows, but they obviously voted for it again. And guess what the final vote was? Because they needed 24 votes in order to actually agree to the ban of that play, and they got 22. So it was 22 to 10 votes, which is actually pretty close. So like literally the majority of the league wants this play gone. Like crazy. That's wild. And I'm not gonna lie, man. You know what makes this even a bigger flag? The Raiders are one of the teams. Mark Davis and the Raiders
voted to get rid of it.
They voted to get rid of the play.
Mark Davis is a hater. I don't know. He was a hater.
Come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on, man. I did not like flag on the play, bro. Flag on the play.
They trying to steal the Eagles personnel, people, and they trying to take away the tush push at the same time.
Bro, what happened? What happened to being competitive and just being the better team and winning? Like at the end of the day, like Mark should know out of he should know of all people, like the Raiders did whatever it took to get a competitive advantage.
Exactly.
So he's trying to take away the competitive advantage, and it's not even a competitive advantage. It's like literally, they're just good at it.
Exactly.
They're better at it. Like, imagine saying like, "Oh yeah, your quarterback can't throw a deep pass because he's just too good at it, man. Like he's just the most accurate deep ball thrower in the NFL." I'm just saying. That's how crazy it is. It sounds to me that they're trying to get rid of a play that they haven't proven that players are getting hurt, because that's what they're trying to say. That's the biggest argument. And I think former Eagle Jason Kelce, the center, he was out there trying to basically show the league and the owners like how it's not going to be a play that players get hurt. Bear with me 1 second, man. But yeah, man. What are your thoughts on the league trying to ban it?
I think it's dumb because for two reasons. First of all, anybody can run a play. So like, if you want to run the play, just work on the play itself and run the play. Be successful at it. And I think it's dumb. The second part reason I think it's dumb is because it's the Eagles not going to be doing this that much longer. It's going to come a point in time where somebody does get hurt and they're going to stop. Their offensive line is currently constructed. I don't think they're going to have together for too much longer. So I think some things are going to change there. And the more success Jalen Hurts has as a quarterback, at some point he's going to be like, "Yo, but I want to put my body through this play multiple times a game." Maybe in emergency situations we'll do it. And this is almost like, remember when the Dolphins were running the Wildcat? With Ronnie Brown, and nobody could stop it, and then teams figured it out, and then they stopped it, and then the Dolphins couldn't run it no more. So that's what's going to happen. Some teams are going to figure out how to stop this play or how to make it less effective, and then they'll stop running it, and then we'll be on to the next play that the league can't stop. That's just what happens.
Yeah, man, that's funny, and it reminds me too of what's another thing that the league couldn't stop. Remember when the read option for a few years, especially the 49ers and Kaepernick, no one could stop. Remember Kaepernick had against who? Against the Packers, a team that's pretty much leading the way and proposing this ban. Yeah. Where Kaepernick was literally running wild over. I think he had 170 some yards. Rushing at QB.
I thought he had two, but maybe I know he set a record in the playoffs.
Didn't he have 170 yards rushing for a QB? I was like, God.
Yeah, I thought he had 200, but I could be wrong on that. But I know he set the playoff record for rushing by a quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah. So it happened to a team like the Green Bay Packers, who are the team that they're complaining, but guess what? Teams are agreeing with them. So I'm like, come on, man. What's going on here, man? But the biggest flag, though, this is a Raiders show, so we got to give it to the Raiders too. They're getting they're getting a big flag from us, man. Because come on, man, just be a good team, just be the better team, just draft well, put the best players out there, and figure out a way to win, man. At the end of the day, I don't think whatever the Eagles are doing is a problem. So it is what it is, man. Let's see what the chat's. Severe, if you can get into the chat real quick, man. I'm having some technical issues, bro.
Yeah, facts. That's My guy DC said the Eagles gonna run 20 tush pushes on the Packers. Facts. But ironically though, the Packers were one of the teams that stopped it in a pivotal moment. They actually like stopped the play. So the fact that they're doing it, it's all brinks, like not gonna say brinksmanship, but it's gamesmanship where it's like, hey, you know what? We know we're gonna play this team in the playoffs. Or we're expecting to play this team in the playoffs. It could be for, NFC championship game, and it's going to come to a situation where it's going to be a third and short or a fourth and short, and we want to take this weapon out of their repertoire. So it's all strategy, and I don't like it. I'm not mad at it, but it's kind of weak to me. It'd be like if you playing Street Fighter and somebody like keep hitting you with an Hadouken, and you like, hey, I'm gonna write Capcom and make them take this out the game. Like what? Like why? Just figure out how to stop it. Like rather than like get this eliminated from the game itself. So it's all kind of weak. But if you can take away a weapon from another team that know is a signature weapon of theirs, and make them rethink their strategy. Hey, if you can take that shot, obviously 22 other teams or 21 other teams agree with the Packers wanting to take that weapon out of their arsenal. So, that they weren't too far off.
Dixon says the Eagles going to run 20 tush pushes on the Packers this season. Yeah, facts. Yeah. They're going to do it like every other play just to get them mad. Right. Yeah. Mark did want to be opposed to what Goodell wants. Yeah. Didn't want to get okay.
Yeah, I can see that too, but at some point, bro, you gotta sack up. You gotta sack up, bro.
Yeah. Like Mark is kind of like the opposite of his pops a little bit. Like he doesn't want to. He's more like he played the way he played the politics game. Like he's not gonna like push or like try to. I don't know. He's not like a maverick like Al Davis. Al Davis would be like, nah, we're doing it our way. I don't care what you think. And guess what? We're gonna sue you too.
Yeah, but that's relative to how important the Raiders are to the league. Like back then, the Raiders, you can make an argument that the Raiders were the most important franchise in the NFL at that point. So like, Al Davis said something. Like I made this argument. Like me and Chris were having a conversation. What were we talking about? I think we were talking about Josh Jacobs. We were talking about leverage, right? Like how does leverage work? And like when does somebody have leverage? And I was like, leverage is only as valuable as somebody is willing to let it be. All right. And I use the example, and I said, hey, you know what? Let's say Chris was like a super villain, right? And let's say like I'm married and I have a wife and kids, and Chris kidnaps my wife and kids and was like, hey, you know what, Severe? Give me $200,000 or I'm going to kill your wife and kids. And if I'd be like, all right, bro, whatever, and hang up, like, does he still have, he don't have leverage no more. So, and that's kind of where the Raiders are right now, where they don't have that same kind of leverage that they had in the past, where Mark Davis can make a threat and Goodell going to be like, all right, well, whatever, man, do what you do, and then just hang up the phone. So we don't got that same kind of pull no more because we're not as valuable to the league right now. But if we start winning, then they got to look at us a little bit differently.
Right. Winning changes everything. Winning changes everything. But the Raiders are just one of those classic franchises, man. It was disgusting for them to leave Oakland. That's how, because it just didn't make any sense. Like, it's just Oakland. Like in my mind, I'm like, all right, if they leave Oakland, go back to LA. Like LA just it looks a little bit more.
That's what they wanted to do though, but the NFL kind of screwed them out of that. That's why they say the Raiders don't got no power because the Raiders already had the agreement in place. They already had the thing all worked out. It was gonna be them and the Chargers and Carson. And the last second, who came in and threw a wrench in that deal? Jerry Jones and his billionaire homie Kroenke. And they're moneyed in the NFL, and Jerry Jones has a lot of pull in the league. So they were able to flex their muscle, nix that deal, next thing you know. And then obviously Stan Kroenke had the money to basically finance his own stadium. So the NFL was like, oh, money, and we got Jerry Jones power. Like, we'll roll with that. So, and next thing you know, instead of the Raiders and the Chargers in Carson, we get the Rams and the Chargers in Inglewood. So, that's what it is. But I mean, to Oakland fans, it's different moving from Oakland. Because that there's that sentimental value. I just wanted the best stadium possible, and we all knew that wasn't Oko.
Yeah, but well, every team's left Oakland, so it's kind of it is what it is, man. That's a whole different. That's just depressing. It's depressing, but RIP to Oakland sports, man. But they got some sports teams, but it's like the local, like, I'll be honest, no one cares. Like, it's not professional pro sports teams. Like, obviously the A's are in Sacramento until they go to Vegas. The Warriors were in Oakland, but they are now in San Francisco, which they're still in the Bay Area, but it's like it ain't the same. You know what I mean? It's not the same.
Then also the Warriors, they were in the playoffs and now they gone fishing. And y'all was talking that junk last week, so I almost swore my Lakers had today.
Curry got hurt though.
Man, that's
like, come on, man. LeBron and
LeBron was
overweight. That overweight player that y'all traded for over during the offseason. I mean, during the season.
LeBron was hurt. LeBron was playing. I think he said he's playing on a torn meniscus.
So he was hurt. He's like 50 years old, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, y'all, Raiders not the Raiders, but the Lakers need to figure out some things, and be honest with you. Like, they need to start building around.
That's why they traded for Luka. Yeah.
Bro, but then they're going to have to give him a contract. And you know what would be crazy? What happens if the Dallas Mavericks GM ends up being right? And what I mean by right, I'm saying like...
It wouldn't be the first time.
Well, he was right about Curry. I'm not Curry, but Kyrie. He got Kyrie. Yeah. Obviously, Kyrie got hurt, but we all see Kyrie is still talented. He's still one of the best guards in the NBA. But I'm just saying, like, what happens if he's right as far as, what was the biggest thing that we heard why Luka Doncic got traded is because they didn't want to give him that super max deal because his work ethic, his liability on defense, and they just didn't see him getting, like, they just didn't want to invest in a player like that who didn't feel like he didn't have the work ethic because they literally, that was the biggest thing they were saying. So what happens if he goes to LA and he gets fat and gets comfortable and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that'd be tough.
It'd be crazy.
I mean, it all depends on how much he cares about his legacy because you can do that kind of stuff in Dallas and people will notice it, but they won't notice it as much. But the Lakers are like the Cowboys and like the Yankees and to some degree, like how the Raiders used to be where like you do something there and it's loud. Like the smallest things you do there are louder than anywhere else in the league. Like people will criticize you for like the clothes you wear and like the restaurants you eat at and like wild stuff like that. Like it's like to the minutia of everything you do is like under a microscope because the Lakers, outside of the Yankees and the Cowboys are probably the biggest sports brand in North America. So they're constantly under a microscope. So
and not every player can come here like be successul.
No, facts.
You know what I mean? It's tough, man. You're under a big microscope. There's only certain players that can do it. LeBron,
here like you're a Lakers fan.
You know what I mean? Because I ain't gonna lie. I grew up a Laker fan. I ain't gonna lie. I grew up a Laker fan, big Kobe fan.
I think you were a Kobe fan though. Were you a Laker fan? Just like a
now I look back at it.
Kobe.
Yeah, because that was my intro. Kobe, Shaq.
Yeah.
That was my intro. Like the Warriors were trash. Like, oh my God, I remember those teams. Like I could name players. You probably like who? Danny Fortson, Chris Mills, Bobby Sura,
white guy.
Mike Dunleavy.
I
like Jay Rich.
Mike Dunleavy Jr. Mike Dunleavy Jr.
Jay
Rich out of Michigan State. I know those dudes.
Jay Rich.
Andres Biedrins. I know, bro. I watched Hoop, bro. I watched all those dudes.
Monte Ellis. I see Monte Ellis on the
Ellis
podcast
was cold,
recently.
bro. Monte Ellis was cold.
Yeah. He was. I always thought like he was just like super fast, but there was actually some rhyme to his game, like for him to be successful and like
he was cold.
You know what I mean? Out of Mississippi too, like
I think he came out. He came straight high school, right?
Out of high school, yep.
He was a second round pick. Yeah, I mean, him and old boy I think were tight. Lemon Pepper Lou. I think him and Lou Will were like real tight.
Oh yeah. Did you see the recent podcast?
No, I ain't seen it.
There's a recent podcast.
I heard a story before though that they were tight.
Yeah, so basically they were like the two guys that like were like they were two best out the class or coming out of high school. Because I think Lou Will came out of high school too.
I think so.
Didn't Lou Will come out of high school?
I think so.
The Sixers drafted him. The Sixers drafted him. Sixers drafted him. But yeah, like when he said like in his workouts, like he was paired with him. Like they were going at each other, like, you know what I mean? Like it was like, but there's a good podcast he had. I'm trying to think who was it on? Whose podcast it was on?
Is it Carmelo's?
No. It you know, everybody got a podcast nowadays, man. But it was it's gonna come to me, man. But
Jeff Teague, Gil.
No. I'm gonna look this up.
All the Smoke.
Not
Paul George.
It's not one of the big podcasts.
Paul George.
Not Paul George. Nah.
Danny Green. Everybody, so many people got Paul podcasts, but
I'm telling you, bro. Like it's so many people. That's why I gotta look it up.
Is it Josh Hart? Josh Hart. I think Josh Hart got one.
Nah. Hold on. Let me look this up. Monte Ellis.
Let's see what we say. I'm gonna get to the chat real quick. AJ says Raiders.
I see it now. It's Out the Mud with Zebo and Tony Allen.
Oh, okay. Damn, that's a super obscure podcast.
Yeah.
Super obscure.
Nah, but it was actually good. It was a good podcast, bro.
Yeah.
It was good, man.
Tony Allen is a dog, though. Tony Allen was a dog.
Yeah. Well, Kobe said like that was like the best defender he ever played against. That was the best defender he ever played against. So I was like, damn, that's high praise. You know, like later in his career, like where he's like, you know what, he don't care about giving anybody no type of competitive edge. You know what I mean? Like at that point. But if you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification. But not yet. Nah, it was. And that, this wraps up flag on the play. But Dixon, he said podcast P. Nah, it was Out the Mud with Tony Allen and Zebo. Zach Randolph, also known as Zebo.
Yep.
Farrah
call him Zebo for a reason.
See, Brim, see that was a little before my time though. Like that's like before I started. I wasn't watching sports like that at that time. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't watching.
Those were the Don Nelson years. That's the Don Nelson years.
Now,
Mitch Hey,
Don Nelson was coaching. Don Nelson was coaching Mitch Richmond, Tim Hardaway, and Chris Boland.
Yeah.
Damn. So he coached the We Believe team, and he coached the damn. All right, bro. That's wild, man. C-Web. How long did C-Web play for the Warriors?
Michael Petrus.
I know he got traded. Michael Petrus, Air France. When they called him Air France.
Man, Air France. Yeah,
Air France.
Jeez.
Don Nelson was later. Yeah, Don Nelson was the coach for the We Believe team, but then he had a long coaching career.
No, he coached them for sure. He coached those teams.
He coached the Mavericks. He coached
that Warriors team. For sure. He coached that Warriors team.
The Mitch Richmond, Tim Hardaway team, run TMC.
He coached the team with C-Webb, with Chris Mullin. He coached that team.
Okay. Yeah, he had a long coaching career,
for sure. He coached that team. I think PJ was that the team. Was PJ assistant coach on that team? PJ Carlesimo when they got choked out? Nah. What was it? Latrell?
Hold up, that was not a Warriors. That was not a Warriors team. That was like a Knicks. That was with the Knicks.
Nah. Latrell Sprewell. Nah, when he choked somebody out. Nah, had to be with the Warriors.
Did he choke Van Gundy? He didn't choke Van Gundy.
It's PJ Carlesimo. But Brian Shaw was on the team. I want to say it was the Warriors. I think it was the Warriors. I think PJ Carlesimo was assistant coach on that team. Look it up. Look it up. Don Nelson for sure coached that early Warriors team though.
Nah, Latrell did choke. He did choke a coach, but I think it might.
It was PJ Carlesimo.
Okay.
I know for sure it's PJ Carlesimo.
Okay. But I remember that. That's a classic NBA.
Yeah. So look. The Don Nelson coached the Warriors from '88 to '95. Then he had the Knicks and he had the Mavericks, and he came back to coach the Warriors again 2006 to
And
2010.
brought him back, man. He brought him back. He brought him back to the playoffs.
I remember for sure because the way he coached, like he was low-key revolutionizing how offense was being played back then, and that was like before D'Antoni was doing it. So Don Nelson was a G. Like unfortunately he never got a chance to win the ring, but he was a dog. He was a monster, bro. He's like I don't even think he ever went to the finals. He's like one of the best coaches to never like go to the finals. I think he's the winningest coach to never win the finals.
He was definitely like a trailblazer to like today's NBA, like that fast pace, positionless, like got like the Al. Like if you remember, like I'm gonna go back to the We Believe team, the Al Harrington, Steven Jackson, Biedrins was a guy that they throw in there, but they used to go small. They probably had Al Harrington at center. They'll have like Steven Jackson played a 4-3. Baron Davis. I remember Baron Davis. Baron Davis around out your way, right?
Baron Davis, yeah, he went to UCLA too. Yeah.
BD's a monster, bro. He was with the Warriors.
Yeah.
Even ending with the Hornets too. But yeah, man, let's move it along, man. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Reese Rock says Tony Allen said KG would be behind yelling. You're gonna lock down Kobe, but if he gets past you, I'm here. KG, the ultimate teammate, man. Yeah, I mean KG. He was trying to win that title, man. He was wanting to win that championship, and he did. Osenware set the tone for fast-paced 3 in space. Now, facts.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes,
sir. The Suns were doing it before then, though.
Oh yeah, like 05, like 06.
Suns were doing it with D'Antoni way before that. But that came from Don Nelson.
No. But Don Nelson, like it came from Don Nelson though.
Yeah, he said 07 though. Like D'Antoni was doing that, like that, playing that style before with Steve Nash. So, like Curry was just like a souped up Steve Nash, basically. A Steve Nash that's more aggressive offensively and a better shooter, basically.
Yeah, just a better player, a better scorer, more aggressive. Yeah. But yeah, D'Antoni is a head coach. I remember he coached the Lakers. I was like, I hate him as a coach. I don't like him as a coach though.
I don't even hate him.
He just got me hella mad, bro. Like that whole season, I was like, bro, like why did the Lakers hire him? Like it didn't make no sense. Like Phil Jackson should have been the coach.
Phil Jackson should have been the coach.
He should, but just politics at the end of the day.
But the thing is that, like, I think now that he's older, he admits to being wrong. But Dwight, because the Lakers, like, yo, man, look, Dwight, like I think because we had Steve Nash. So like, look, man, if you and Steve Nash run pick and roll, bro, like you're one of the best, like roll in terms of pick and roll. You're one of the best scorers in the league as a roll man in the pick and roll. Steve Nash is one of the best like passers in the league at running the pick and roll. He's one of the best passers of all time. You're one of the most athletic bigs in the league. Like, let's run this pick and roll. This is what I've had success with. Let's just run this. And Dwight was like, no, I want to get touches in the post. So he refused to run it. So that's why they couldn't run the offense like you wanted to. So Dwight has said, like, you know what? I should have just listened. Like, if I had listened and did what they said, we could have had a lot more success. But I was just so, like, adamant that I didn't want to do that. And he's like, also, like, my back. So I wasn't fully healthy from my back, so I didn't want to do it that way. So, so that's what he kind of said. But he said he kind of regrets, like, that taking that stance.
Yeah. Dwight is one of those players had a weird career. Like, he'd be like, at one point, you're like, man, this is an all-time great player as far as, like, how many Defensive Player of the Year's award? Like, and you can see the talent, shot blocker, athleticism. Like, he led his team to the finals, like the Magic. Like, he ruined the Kobe LeBron finals, like, like. But then there were moments where, like, it's just like, I don't know, man. Like when he came to the Lakers and he went to the Houston, like, it was downhill. But then he was hurt though too. To be fair, he was hurt.
But he's not a post scorer. That's the thing. He's a lob guy. He's a roll man and a hell of a defender. Can he score some out of the post? Yeah, because he's super quick, super athletic. But he's not a guy that's going, hey, you know what? Give you all kind of moves in the post and do it. That's not his game. That's what he wanted to be. It's just not that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, man. He did. He had that team was like built around him. Like everybody, like from Turkoglu, JJ Redick,
Rashard
Jameer
Lewis.
Nelson. Everybody could shoot. Rashard Lewis.
Yeah.
Like everybody could pretty much shoot.
Yeah.
Dwight couldn't catch a pass from Steve Nash. Like, people start calling Dwight soft. Like, damn, his whole career. But he ended up, years later, comes back. He wins the championship. You know what I mean? He the bubble championship. So it is what it is, man. Salute to my guy, man. Salute Pharaoh Severe, man. Appreciate you coming through, Jeff, man. Appreciate you pulling up, man.
Congratulations, man. He's a freshly minted grandfather. Just had a grandson.
Oh, man,
congrats. He was talking about it, man. So yeah.
Congrats, man. Steve put the link in the chat, man. Appreciate you. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my guy. Dwight would drop the ball and get hit out of hands. Now he wasn't, but he wasn't like Kwame. He wasn't Kwame Brown. He wasn't
Kwame Brown.
He wasn't that
Thiago
bad.
Splitter. It's like,
yeah, man. But hey, let's move it along, man. Let's get to notable quotables. This is where we play some quotes that we find interesting, and we have a conversation about. So let's go with the before I play the clip, man. If you want to give the intro to the first notable quotable.
Yeah, man. I think obviously in this year's first round, the Raiders went with Ashton Jeanty. And one of the things that was notable about Ashton Jeanty is his stance in the backfield. I think they call it like the Michael Myers stance or something like that. Mm-hmm. I think that's what they would call it. But basically he's like standing straight up. It looks when I first saw it, I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. It looks dumb, but hey, he was killing with it. And coming into the league, I think there was some speculation about whether teams would ask him to make that change, and we got some confirmation as to what that decision ended up being.
Oh yeah, we're actually gonna play this clip. We're gonna show the clip, I should say. And this is a interview he had with, should we call it a Raider hater? I don't know, like a Raider. Something to do with bad luck. Just bad.
Just bad.
That's hilarious. All right, man. That's crazy. Kay Adams sits down with Ashton Jeanty. Let's go ahead and play this clip here.
Can't hear it.
Can you hear it?
Can't hear it, no.
Oh, you can't hear it?
No, I can't hear it. No, negative.
Oh, what is going on? Mm-hmm.
So that's just why you don't draft running backs in the first round. You can't hear what they're saying. Dang, she damn near taller than Ashton Jeanty. That's trash. Yo, that's terrible. I did not notice that before. That's all bad.
Hold on.
He got cleats on too, man. That's not a good look.
He's 5'8".
It's not a good look, man. It's not a good look. You got this petite woman. It's not a good look.
I figured out a way here. I'll figure out a way, and this is the way.
But I don't like what I'm seeing.
Sometimes you gotta, go with the flow. What's crazy is, man, Chip Kelly, he comes up to me the first day of rookie minicamp. He like, you play basketball? Like, you ever play basketball? I'm like, yeah, I played basketball. Like, I could dunk, all that. He's like, okay. He was like, show me how you would guard me. Like, and he acting like he holding the ball.
Let's do this, get up.
He like, show me how you guard me. He holding the ball. Like, act like you holding the ball.
Okay, got it, yeah.
Then I'm like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was like, that's exactly why you got to be down in your running back stance.
No, you were so convicted.
I was,
and
but.
then he won? Just like that? That's all it took?
He won for now. I'm going to try to persuade him one day. I gotta earn my stripes, make some plays first, but I don't think it's going to be there.
Yeah, man. So that's Ashton Jeanty pretty much talking about how he's going to be changing his stance Am I frozen?
You frozen. Yeah, you frozen.
Oh, damn. Hold on 1 second. But yeah, Severe, if you want to talk about the clip real quick.
Yeah, man, that's as we kind of saw, Chip Kelly, he was able to convince Ashton Genty to change his stance, because you think about if you're getting ready to make dynamic movements, right? Like, what puts you in the best position to make those dynamic movements? Is it standing straight up, flat-footed, or is it in a lower position, knees bent, where you can like lean either side and make an explosive movement either way? When you're kind of standing straight up, that's not the best position out of which to make a dynamic movement. Like, just think about, like, if I told you to jump up as high as you can, the first you're gonna do is bend down and jump up. You're not gonna just like jump straight from your toes, right? Like, if you think about when you're running a track meet, like, what are they usually? How are they usually standing? Like, if you're running like a fast race, you usually get down in a lower stance because you explode more out of that stance. So when you're standing straight up, that limits your explosion from that position, because you're flat-footed, you're not in a dynamic position, your muscles aren't in a position to really explode forward. So I understand, why Pete wants that, but I also understand why people don't want Ashton Genty's stance to be tampered with, because he has success with it. But he has success with it in the Mountain West. Like, this ain't the Mountain West no more.
I hear you. But, like, when he says it helps him see the alignment of the defense, and then you think about he's 5'8", you're just like...
That's why you're going to draft 5'8" running backs in the first round.
I'm just like, come on, man. But we'll see. I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, it's just an adjustment that he's going to have to make. I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. And I get the standpoint of, like, you're going to be more explosive if you're a little bit lower. We all know low man wins. But when he says that it helps him see, and then you think about how tall he is, you're like, man, he's only going to get smaller if he's going to get low like that. So he's not going to be able to see the defense, which we always what do we talk about with Genty? Like, what's one of his best strengths? His vision.
Yeah, so, but the thing is that, like, even when he starts running, he's not running like straight up, he's running low. So if he's trying to get like a pre-snap read on the defense, like, nothing stopping him from standing up, taking a look, and then getting back in the stance. Like, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like, hey, stand up.
You know what it is, though. Defenses will make those last minute adjustments. They'll slide to the left, slide to the right, whatever the case may be. But we'll see. We'll see.
You can't notice a defense or a defensive line sliding to the left or sliding to the right, bro. We got a lot more to worry about than his stance. That's right. Off top.
Yeah. It's just that look. That's my concern is the fact that he was great at it. Now you're trying to change him to something that you want him to be, and if he doesn't play well, are we going to blame him or are we going to blame the coaches?
I mean, I'm going to blame him, but
but then what happens? What happens if like they make that adjustment and he plays great? When I say great, I mean he's dominating. Are you going to blame the coaches or are you going to blame him?
I still going to blame him, because a lot of times it's psychological. So a lot of times it's like, hey, I don't like this, I don't want to do this, and it's psychological more than anything. So for perfect example, right? We look at LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy had his best year in the league under who? Chip Kelly. We look at guys that Chip Kelly's put into the league, like LeGarrette Blount, LaMichael James. Like, all these guys were great college players when they were with Chip Kelly. When they got to the league, they weren't exactly the same level of player anymore. So he's proven that he can have success with running backs. He knows how to coach running backs. So I think, like, a guy that knows how to coach running back, who knows how to get the most out of the running game. We just saw him do it with Quinshawn and with Travion.
Yeah.
I think we should, trust in what that guy's saying.
Bro, like, when you responded and said that, it's still on Genty, this is how I felt, bro.
If you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
That's what I think about the coaching staff, man. We let them off the hook. You let them off the hook, bro. The coaches, they got to take some blame. If I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, if he struggles and then they make that adjustment and he's dominating, like what are you doing? Like,
I think it's psychological at that point. I think it's more psychological, more. If he struggles doing it, I think it's more psychological than anything. It's because it's not. I don't think it's like, oh, you know what, like every running back in the history of the league is ran this way, and Genty's the only person that can't. Like that's wild. Like that's wild.
Right.
That's like what, like bro. That's not a me problem, bro. That's a you problem. So if you can't do this, that's on you. So I think and I don't think it's.
There's been examples though. There have been examples, not specifically like this scenario, but I'm saying there's been examples of players being very unorthodox and doing something a certain way, and that's what makes them successful and great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But Daniel Kim says I heard on the pod. Yeah, go ahead.
Like throwing motion, like I'm saying, like throwing motions and stuff, like. But that's different though. Like somebody's throwing motion, that's different than like how somebody stands behind a quarterback. I think like throwing motion is like, no, that's a little bit different. Like if you need to stand a certain way to like, I can only stand straight up or I'm not good. Like, bro, then we have some problems.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Daniel Kim says, I heard on a podcast that the timing in the NFL is much faster and you can't be late to plays and developing and standing straight up makes you slightly late. Okay. I mean, hey, look, whatever Chip Kelly said, I'm sure he had more to say outside of him just saying get into the stance. You know, he convinced them like, all right, we're going to do it your way. But you heard what he said. It's not over, you know.
Yeah.
And I think, and you know, it's funny. You know what he mentioned? I don't know how you would view this, but he mentioned branding because that's kind of his thing. How you feel about that?
I can see that. I can see that. See, but like that's already a red flag, bro. That's already a red flag, bro. That's already like, bro, like that's already a red flag. Like that's not what you should be thinking about is. First of all, bro, we spent a 6th pick on your ass, bro. Like I don't give a damn what your brand is, bro. You better come out here and score some touchdowns. Like that's all I care about. That should be all you should care about because the rest is gonna take care of itself, bro. But if you like, and how you gonna like? I don't even know how you even brand that. Like how you brand like, like it's like I don't even know how you like. First of all, that shouldn't be in your mind. But how do you even like brand off of that? Like this is how I.
But that's today's athlete. They're thinking about.
It looks strange.
Yeah, but it's different though. It stands out.
Yeah,
that's the way they're looking at it. And in today's athlete, they care about their brand. Like they care, like that's something that they care about because they know that they can transfer that into whatever. You know what I mean? They could.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. That's today's generation.
If he's thinking about that and not thinking about being like the most effective he can be as a player, man, that's like I said, like
that's just business.
Yeah. It's business. But we have you know we've heard nothing but good things about who he is as a player, how he is as a worker, and any of that stuff. So I wouldn't say it's a huge concern as of yet. But if your brand is on your mind in terms of like how you stand on the field, when the coach is telling you like this is gonna be more effective, but you're like, oh man, but you know, like my brand though, like nah, bro, that's not a good look.
Did Darren Sproles start for the Chargers? Did he actually start?
I think he did at some point. Yeah, at some point. I don't think he was ever like the full-time starter.
He was good. He was good though. He was good. He wasn't a great running back. He was
very effective. He was very effective.
Yeah. You know, and especially special teams. Yeah, special teams value, obviously. Yeah, he was good. He was a good receiver out the backfield. Daniel Kim says MJD and Darren Sproles were both 5'7". I think Genty will be fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Blame Spike. Dixon says
blame
blame
Spike
Taker. Yeah, MJD was pretty fast coming out. I think he pointed out
saying that
he ran 4.3.
Yes, 4.3.
Sproles probably
4.3. Yeah, probably 4.3, 4.4. I would say.
Yeah. But they're like different types of games. Maybe closer to MGD because Maurice Jones he broke tackles. Dixon says blame Spytek for drafting a 5'8" running back.
Bro, that's exactly what I said. Exactly what I said.
And that's probably a good segue to the next notable quotable. And this quote is from a recent podcast interview that he had, and he talked about the type of player that he looked for in Tampa Bay, and probably what he's going to be looking for in Vegas.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and play this.
When I got there in 2016, we won 9 games, and then we hit a little bit of a rough patch. And we had to be pretty self-critical of the players that we were selecting and signing in free agency, and understand where we missed, and then have a plan to come off of that. And it just got to a point where we all put our heads together, and we wanted to know what do we want a Buccaneer to look like? What do we want these players to be that we either pay a lot of money to in free agency or we use high draft picks on? And we kind of found that I am that man moniker that we talked about all the time. And there was led by Jason, he said all the time, we don't miss on the player, we miss on the person. And so we really believed in that, and we made that kind of the central piece of our scouting process. We were going to commit to the person. We were going to almost demand that the person that we were selecting was a love it football person, that they were competitive as hell, that you almost had to, in a sense, kill them to get them off the field. Like the idea of put the football down anywhere and we just want to play. That became paramount. And there's always a temptation when you watch athletes move around. I mean, one of the drugs for me is to put on film and see somebody do something incredibly difficult and make it look extremely easy just because they're so gifted athletically. But more complicated is to find the driven, competitive, high emotional intelligence person that usually outlasts just the talented person. And when you find that person and they have the body of a Tristan Wirfs or a Vita Vea, that's, to me, I think, where you start hitting home runs.
Hey, man. I'm all for character traits, things that I'm all for that. But like he said at the end, they got to be talented.
Yes.
Or they're going to be like a Cleveland Pharaoh. You know what I mean? Like you pick them high and then they end up being not a bad player, but just a role player. But you don't pick a role player at like number 3 or 4. So I think you take that with a grain of salt. I value that. I like that they know what they want in a player as far as loving the game, loving football. I get why they would want that, but at the same time, hopefully they're talking about just talented players, like talent, and look at the type of players they drafted. A lot of like boomer busts in the later rounds, but they like the person. So that says a lot about their draft class then. If that's what they're looking for, that says a lot about Dante Thornton because that's what they feel like he is. That says a lot about the Melots, the 2 offensive linemen they took. Darian Porters, obviously Genty. We talked about him. Besh, we all know his story. You know what I mean? So it says a lot about the draft class if this is what they're looking for. I mean, what was your take on what he was saying about the type of players that he's looking for, especially from his days with Tampa Bay?
Yeah, man. I think one thread that kind of runs between successful organizations is that character plays an important part in what they value in a player. And I think that when you think about that, and you think about some of the stuff you heard about, we all know about Shador, why he failed. It wasn't necessarily the player. They did not draft the player, but they didn't, draft the personality or what they thought the personality would be in the locker room. So character is important, and we hear Pete talk about building the culture and building the foundation. And essentially that's why the Raiders brought him in here, was kind of lay that foundation. And then, when you were able to marry that character, as he said, when you were able to marry that high character with the talent, like a Tristan Wirfs or a talent like a Vita Vea, then you have, the makings of a very good player. So I think, and you brought up Cleveland Pharaoh, right? I think Cleveland Pharaoh, I think he had he had the character for sure. The character, he had some of the talent. I just think he was just a misfit in what we ended up, what our defense turned into under Gus Bradley, because he was a fit in the Paul Gunther system. He didn't fit in the Gus Bradley system. Mm-hmm. So sometimes in order for these things to work, you need some organizational stability, because you can't be switching regimes now. So that's why we're able to get a better look at a guy like a Tyree, because even though the head coaches has been 3 different, this is his 3rd head coach for now, he's still had the same defensive coordinator, essentially the same defensive philosophy. So we're getting an actual chance to see, what, either this guy is going to work here or he's not. And sometimes you don't get that. And, no matter how high your character is or how much talent you have, sometimes if you're just put in these precarious situations, like you're not able to reach or fulfill your potential. So I think all of that stuff is important. And I'm glad to see that, hey, we're finally we finally have some people in place that are thinking about all of these things.
Well, I would say Gruden and Mayock tried. Like they tried to go for what they did was, what they did? You could probably say they took the easy way out route. They focused on, at the time, Clemson guys that were coming out of Clemson and Alabama, like winning programs. Like they were trying to get those high character guys. I don't know what the Damon Arnett. Ohio State. He was out of Ohio State.
Yeah. So, but that's because look, there's nothing wrong with that strategy, right? Because look, you think about the college team that was the most dominant at that time. It was Clemson, right? So what did the Raiders do? They drafted a bunch of Clemson guys. Mm-hmm. They just didn't do it right. Yep. Perfect example. Fast forward, what team is the most dominant college team recently?
Georgia.
What did the Eagles do?
Get a lot of No, I get that,
and it worked for them. They just took the right guys. We didn't take the right people.
Yeah, that's facts. Hey, Brim, good one. I love this. Work Done was a monster.
Yeah, Work Done
he was a beast.
Good. Work Done was way faster than what's called it though.
But he was like 5'9", 5'8", 5'9".
Nah, he was probably 5'7". Really, the Work Done was small. He might have been 5'7". But Work Done, he was faster. Work Done's out of Florida State too. He's out of Florida State too, I believe. So he played like legit high level college football. Like Florida State is a blue blood program. So his comp, even though the ACC is not like the strongest conference, but the ACC is much stronger than the Mountain West.
Europe Jurors Raider Podcast, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. Sub brothers, just sub to the channel, man. Appreciate you supporting the show, man, and subscribing. My guy, looks like you have your own podcast as well, man. So if you guys haven't subscribed, man, make sure to head over there and subscribe to my guy. Kevin Lurker says, when your fan base can draft better than you, that's a problem. Nah, that's facts. That's bad. And it's true. That is one stone cold fact right there. Like literally for a while now, but hopefully, Spy Tech can change that narrative. Even say you never. Yeah, I seen that.
Like exactly. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, people that know,
Genty.
People that know that position, bro, it just makes the most sense, man. They'll be like a quarterback. Like, look, when I take the snap from center, I don't like bending down. I like standing straight up. So I just lean forward a little bit and get like, no, bro, like just. Bend your knees so you can get in your drop back better. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's still like this is my brand. It's my brand. I want to be able to look over all the linemen and see the defense. Like, bro, if you need to do all that, man, like, sit your ass down somewhere, man. We're gonna put you in a pistol. We ain't gonna put you in a shotgun. Put you in a pistol. You can't go from like a center like this. So,
man,
shout out to LV Raider Tim. I think my guy got a podcast too, man. It's Nate. I was able to meet him in Bakersfield. So.
Salute, man. He just comes through and says, Raiders. Man, I got you, bro. Man, appreciate you coming through. Now, it's all good, Yerp. It's all good. Rosetown in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through. Work Done won a national title in college. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bobby Bowden with one of the legends, Bobby Bowden.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's move it along, man. Let's get to what's real, what's not. This is where we say statement. Y'all react to it.
Oh, it's fine.
And as well as us, if it's real or it's not. So I'll say statement. Obviously, we'll react to it and say if it's real or not, as well as everybody else is watching. Let us know in the chat. And the first what's real, what's not statement is Christian Wilkins will miss the start of the season. First 4 games, be on the PUP list. Is that real or is it not? Christian Wilkins, defensive tackle, who got hurt last year, who recently we heard, obviously he was start with his injury. He was on a boot, then they took it off, then they put it back on, and they took it off. He will miss the start of the season, be put on the PUP list, but pretty much, and miss the first 4 games. Is that real or is it not? Let me know in the chat. It just seemed like it. I just feel like that's what's gonna happen. Like, especially with Carroll, I'm gonna say it's real because I feel like, especially with Carroll saying we're gonna use all the time. Like, damn. Like, and he seemed pretty concerned. You know, Carroll's a very positive coach. He's super positive. Everything. But when his name came up, you could tell like he was trying to be positive, but at the same time, he's like, man, we need as much time as possible for him to get healthy because right now it's been a long process because he got hurt 7 months ago, pretty much.
Yeah.
And he's still like coming out of a boot. Like, man, that's getting, you know, we're not in training camp, but you know. But I'm gonna say it's real. I'm gonna say it's real. What are your thoughts?
I like to buy a vowel. I'm obviously nah. Nah. I'm gonna say, you know what, man. You know what? I'm gonna play devil's advocate, and I'm gonna say not real. I'm gonna say not real. You think about it right now, right? You think about it right now. The foot had progressed enough to the point where he was working out. We saw footage of him working out with the team, you know, in those early voluntary mini camps. Then obviously, you know, he hit a little bit of a setback, so they have to, you know, they dialed things back a little bit. But he's a guy. Pete also mentioned that he's being diligent in his rehab. He's, you know, in the facility doing everything he needs to do. I think right now they're in the voluntary phase of camp. It's not, first of all, it's not mandatory camp, so he doesn't even have to be there. You know, he's already been in this defense previously, so it's not like he's like the reps are that important to him. You would ideally you want him getting the reps, but it's not like, hey, you know what? If he doesn't get the reps, it's going to stunt his development. He's already, you know, established himself in the league, and it is a bone. Now it is a small bone. And I think you still have to be very cautious with those small bones, but we think we got almost 4 months until the season. Now, usually bones heal in like a month. You feel me? So at that point, it's just managing. You know what? The area where the break is. Are we managing it correctly? Is it fully healed? You know, like what kind of movements can he do without, you know, having the risk of re-injuring it? So I think that given the amount of time he has and the fact that it is a bone break, even though it isn't his foot and those can be tricky, I think he makes it back. I don't think he starts out on PUP. He maybe misses a game, maybe. I think maybe like first game he's like questionable, and he doesn't play the first game. But I don't think he starts on the PUP.
Steve says he should be treated the same way we would treat Crosby if he was injured. And if that's the case, like Pete Carroll said, we're gonna take advantage of all the time that he has available. I think they're gonna look at it from a perspective like, is he ready to go week 1? Where's he at gonna be week 2? Okay, you know what? Let's not risk this. You know what I mean? Yeah. If he's that type of player for the Raiders, which he, you know, obviously they signed him to a big time contract, defensive tackle. You can just think of the possibilities of him, Kuntz, and Max Crosby on the field, which that hasn't happened yet. I think it happened maybe for a game and a half. You know, Kuntz got hurt. Did Kuntz get hurt right after week 1?
No, Kuntz got hurt preseason.
Oh, he got hurt preseason.
He didn't play. He didn't play at all.
He didn't even play.
So he
didn't play week 1.
He didn't play at all in the preseason or nothing. I don't even think he made it to training camp. I don't believe, if I recall correctly. He didn't. He got hurt. He got hurt early. He got hurt like running off the field, or either on the field for a workout or off the field from a workout. But he got hurt like in the most like benign, crazy way. So they've never played together.
why do players go on PUP? It's a strategic reason why players go on PUP, because they don't count against the roster. So if things get tight, right? The Raiders got, they're preaching position, like they're preaching competition right now in every position, and if the competition gets tight, obviously Christian Wilkins is not going to be. Some people are like they're agreeing with you. Some people are agreeing, saying like, you know what, maybe not 4 games, maybe not the PUP, but maybe the first couple games. If it's going to be first couple games, why don't you just, strategically speaking, keep a player on the roster while a Christian Wilkins, who's not going to be ready week 1, week 2, you could just, let's see. Actually, you know what? We didn't even get into the schedule.
No, we didn't. But the reason for that is that because look, you think about it, like, let's say he misses. First of all, you look at the schedule. Week 1 we play Travion Henderson. Week 2 we play Amarian Hampton. I'm telling you now, bro. I am going to go ape shit. Let Travion and Amarian outplay this dude. I'm going to go ape shit. Be ready now. Be ready now. If these dudes outplay Genty,
the Colts.
My point is, you definitely need him against the Commanders. Like, definitely need him against Commanders. And there's a very good chance you need him against Chicago, because you need to pressure you need to put some pressure on Caleb, and ideally you get some pressure from the interior. It kind of forces him out, outside of the pocket into either Kuntz or to Mac. So you want some pressure. You don't want him to be able to step up in the pocket. So, and you don't want to put him on the PUP if you don't have to, because you want him available for as many games as possible. So, and think about when the injury happened. It happened fairly early last year. So if you go think about it, it's been like several months from what is it, October, late October or October of last year, all the way to September of this year. If that's not enough time to heal, then we have some serious, like 1 or 2 extra games ain't gonna make a difference if it ain't healed by that time. We have some massive concerns at that point, because it could be an injury that follows him throughout the rest of his career, because it'll be almost a year.
No, and that's why there's a concern, because you could see the concern in Pete Carroll's voice, or the way he was explaining the whole situation with Christian Wilkins. As much as he is as a positive coach, you could tell he had to temper down, expectations, and talk about it's taking longer than expected, and they're going to use every time that they have available to them, which is basically the entire offseason, training camp maybe, and maybe a little bit into the season. I'm just saying, if this was Max Crosby, or if this is an injury where obviously he's a 300-pound man, got a broken bone in his foot that he needs to heal up, you're gonna try to take you're gonna take your time, bro. Like, you want to take your time with this injury, because obviously there's some setbacks.
Yeah,
because he was in a boot, he was out of a boot, then he went back into a boot. Like, so there must be some type of setback. So now they're gonna have to reevaluate their strategy, and their strategy is like, you know what? Let's just focus on rehabilitation now. Like, let's not force the issue. And I'm sure, I think PUP is gonna be on the table. I think it's real, but I hear what you're saying. We're literally arguing 4 games or 2 games. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's a chance he's ready. I think if he's not ready, if he's not fully ready week 1, that's a huge concern, because it'll be almost a year since the injury. So I think PUP is a consideration, but you would hope not. And I would hope that the boot is that's precautionary to keep the bone stabilized. Hey, after you work out or rehab it, that's when it's at it's in a sensitive state at that point, because you've been putting some exertion on it. So hey, you know what? Let me take some of this pressure and this weight off of it, and put it in this boot, and that way, hey, it has as much time as possible to kind of heal. But and if all else fails, just pour some tussin on that thing, man. Just pour some tussin on it, man. It's gonna be all right.
M85 says, I flew out to Miami game last year. Sucked to not see him on the field. Fins fans were yapping too. Yeah, man, it sucks because before he got hurt, he was probably, you gotta think,
he played his best game.
Yeah, probably playing his best ball of the season. I think at the time, think Max might have been out too as well, and he was playing well. I was like, you know, and we had like some other guys coming in and playing, you know, it was like a committee approach to that other outside spot, DN spot, where, you know, Kuntz got hurt early on.
Yeah.
So when he got hurt, it was like, man, season over. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, like there's like no hope now. Like, come on, man. That was like what was the biggest strength on our team was the defensive line, and we weren't able to see that at full strength. So hopefully we get to see that this year. But yeah, man, let us know, man. If y'all watching the replay, let us know in the comments. And yeah, man, some people agree, some people they're like, you know, a couple games, few games. I'm looking at it from a strategy position, and also like you got to be cautious with this type of injury, because I think they did try to have him. Like you mentioned, you said, oh, hey, he was out there in the offseason and practicing, and then all of a sudden he had a hiccup. So I think right now you could tell, like, you know what, let's be super cautious. And I think what that looks like is the pup list to start the season. You know, won't count against the roster. Keep a guy for a few, you know, it's all, you know, it's a chess at the end of the day. Like, they're gonna try to figure out who. It's position battles all over the team. So I feel like they're gonna try to keep a player on the roster while you know, Christian Wilkins gets healthy. But we'll see. We'll see. So if anybody, if you haven't already, make sure to click in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Wilkins just got to put some vapor rub, man. Hey, man.
Yeah.
If only it was that simple.
Exactly. And I think with Pete, you know, I think what Pete is doing, I think you always want to under promise and over deliver. So it's like, oh man, you know what? We're gonna take our time with it. Oh man, Christian Wilkins on the because what you don't want to do is like, and you'll remember this because this was the most infuriating thing that ever happened to me as a Raider fan. Remember when Darren McFadden got hurt, and every week it was like, oh, Hugh Jackson was like, oh man, Darren McFadden's getting close. Like, oh man, it's any week now we getting Darren McFadden back. Like, he is getting so close. Well, it might be another week or two, and like every week it was like, oh, he's getting close. He can go, and then it's the end of the season, and we never got Darren McFadden back, and it was the most frustrating thing because Darren McFadden was on a tear at that time. So, and everybody was mad at Hugh because he was telling us like, hey, you know what, Darren McFadden was close, and this dude wasn't close at all. He was like, he never played again. So, you know, or he never played again that year. So that's why I think
every week, bro, I was checking, bro. I remember I was checking every week.
He kept giving us hope. Like, oh man, Darren McFadden's getting close. He's working real hard. He's so I think Pete may and he could be telling the truth, but it could be a situation where it's like, you know what, I'm not going to put anything on it. I'm not going to put any kind of pressure on him via the fan base or for the media for him to come back, and kind of want to dead this issue, so I'm not having to answer this question every single week. Like, oh, how it was Wilkins. So he said Wilkins was doing better. He said, like, you know, dead the issue now, and then we'll deal with it once we make the announcement that he's back. Then that's when we'll talk about it again.
Man, Dixon says if all else fails, we got Tyree at D tackle. Imagine if Tyree at D tackle
oh my god,
plays pretty good.
Oh, so I can't see.
You know what I mean? If he kills at D tackle, but you can't, you're like, nah, you have no hope in Tyree. You're just like, man, you're just counting days at this point.
He sets a good edge in the run game. He sets a nice edge, and that's about it. That's about it. I like John, man, and on the interior, I like John Lualu. I like Jonah Lualu. I think he's gonna be a smooth player for us on the interior.
Yeah, I think we picked him up from the Colts.
Yeah, last year.
They release him, or I think we picked him up from his practice squad or something like that. Yeah, that was last year during the season. He's not a bad run defender. Yeah,
he sets a good edge in the run game. That's about it though. But that's because all he has to do is stand there, like, and be like he don't go nowhere. He's like, I'm right here. Right. You got to run around me.
Yeah. Well, let's move it along, man, to the next what's real, what's not statement. Once again, man, we say a statement. Y'all react if it's real or not, as well as us. So I'm going to go ahead and give the second what's real, what's not statement. And the second one is Trey Tucker will have his breakout season.
Not.
Trey Tucker will have his breakout season. next season. And just to give a little bit more context to what that would look like, because we all know who's the number one option on offense, the number two option. Like we know what that is, and you got to throw in Jack Besh in there. So breakout season would be, especially for him on this team, would be 60 catches, about 700 to 800 yards, and 5+ touchdowns. Like if we're able to get that from him, I'm like, whew, like that's pretty solid. Because you got to look at who are the players in front of him who are probably going to get way more targets, way more involved in the offense. He's probably going to be like the deep threat, that's going to take some pressure or taking advantage of like the one-on-one opportunities. And if he does that, man, hey, look, that's a great season for him. So that's the what's real, what's not. Is Trey Tucker will have a breakout season next season, and it's going to look like 60 catches, 700 to 800 yards, 5+ touchdowns. Is that real or is it not? Let me know in the chat. Severe, man. You think it's real? I think I think it's not real. I don't think it's real.
Yeah, man. I will say this, man. That Trey Tucker could have a breakout season, man. He can break route out of a roster spot and be unemployed. Now, but seriously, you think about last year. Think about last year, right? Think about last year when the Raiders were like in desperate need of some production at wide receiver. Like at one point or another, both Jacoby and Devontae were hurt. Then Devontae was gone. Then Michael Mayer was away from the team, and obviously, well, who do you have? Ramel Keaton and Alex Bachman and DJ Turner, and like with all of this, and the Raiders desperately needing somebody to produce at wide receiver, the most that Trey Tucker could muster last year was like 500 something yards. And that's what on some occasions him being like the number one wideout out there, right? Outside of Brock, who obviously was like the number one target, but with Trey being like the number one wideout technically in some of those situations, he still couldn't produce at that level. So is there a chance that he shows some improvement? Yeah, because like I said, like Chip Kelly, he's shown the ability to use players with his skill set who are questionable in their understanding of route running or their ability to run routes, or questionable in their ability to understand spacing and understand coverages or understand how to manipulate coverages. Like he's been able to have success with these guys at the collegiate level. Now, will he be able to do it at the NFL level? That remains to be seen. But he's shown that he can use some of these players. So I think he will, if Trey Tucker ends up being on this team, I think he will find a role for him. He will find a way to get him some touches. Will that equate to the 60 catches, 700 yards? Hell no. but I think he will show some improvements.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, I agree, man. I don't think it's real. I think that it's just look at how the offense is currently constructed and who are the players that they're going to feature. They're going to want to run the ball. That's going to be a big part of their offense.
Better run the ball.
Right. And then after that, then you got to think about, okay, when they have to drop back and pass, because today's NFL, you have to pass. Like you can't just run the ball every down. But I'm sure Pete Carroll wants to do that. It's Brock Bowers. Then you got to think about the Michael Mayers of the world. Then you got to think about Jacoby Myers. Before Michael Mayer, Jacoby Myers. Yeah, and then you got to throw in a Michael Mayer after Jacoby Myers, because you're like, oh, okay, maybe if he has a good offseason, like they're gonna probably be in obvious running formations, but then you put a Michael Mayer in there, that's another target.
Like Besh for him.
Yeah, it's like 60 catches, 700 to 800 yards. Someone got hurt, or someone didn't live up to expectations on offense for him to get those yards. Like maybe Jack Besh,
or a running game is trash, which is like that's like you think about like it's that's the only way I can see it. Which I don't see our running game being trash. I think Genty's going to be at the very least a solid to good NFL running back at the bare minimum. So a running game is not going to be trash. Brock is going to get his. Jacoby's going to get his. I think Michael Mayer has a better year. I think Jack Besh is going to get his. So it's like, with that many guys, and I don't think we're going to be like a super high octane passing offense. So I don't think we're going to have a bunch of these guys, putting up crazy yardage in the pass game. So I don't see it. I'm rooting for those guys too, Steve. I'm rooting for everybody on this team except Tommy Eichenberg. Everybody else, I'm rooting for you.
Nah, you know what? I think Tucker could have a really good season. Because it's for that to happen, it might not show up like numbers wise, like 60 catches, like 700, 800 yards, but maybe more like he's making plays. He's making plays for a guy that's a number 3 or 4 guy. You know what I mean? Because we also gotta think about like, hey, can he possibly lose his spot to Thornton?
Yeah.
But you know what? Like the number 3 guy, you would think would be more of a slot guy. I don't think that's not Thornton's game. But the guys that are starting ahead of Tucker and Thornton, the Jack Beshes, the Jacoby Myers, like literally, Spytek, I think he came out and said like, Jacoby is a slot receiver. So maybe that's their plan for him on offense. Is he's going to be the slot. Or maybe
I would hope.
Or Jack Besh. I mean, maybe that's Chip Kelly's evil scientist experiments, where he's like, man, I can move everybody around. People are gonna think I'm gonna play them on the outside. I can move them inside. I could motion them inside like at any point because they could play inside. Maybe that's the plan. And you throw in a Thornton who obviously is more of an outside receiver.
Yeah.
And you like him because he has more size than a guy like a Trey Tucker. So there's a possibility that like maybe Trey Tucker be that number 4 guy. But hey, man, the way it's looking, I think in third year, I think he's going to be that number 3 guy, but I just don't see 700 to 800 yards. Like that means something went terribly wrong. Someone got hurt. And then, obviously he stepped up, but it is what it is, man. We'll see how it shakes out. And we forgot to talk about this. Kevin Lurker says Parham at left guard. So the battle right now is happening at left guard between Parham and Meredith. Right now, the starting offensive line, as of what's been shown in minicamp, has been Colton Miller from left to right. Meredith and Parham are battling out. JPJ at center, Alex Kappa at right guard, and obviously at right tackle, DJ Glaze.
Yeah.
So, for all the people who are kind of nervous about Alex Kappa, it looks like he has that right guard spot is for him to lose. Like something crazy has to happen for him to lose that spot. But if you had to bet on it, who do you think is gonna win that left guard spot?
Meredith
over Parham.
Yeah, I think Meredith is a better player. To be honest with you, I had high hopes for Parham coming out that year. We got him. His first year, he had a good year. I think he was like Pro Football Writers of America. I think he was like all rookie first team at guard. So kind of thought the trajectory was pointing up. But he's just been a disappointment. And last year was a massive disappointment. And now he's moving back to the left side. I think that the thing about Dylan Parham is that he's a guy that offers you more as a, well, I'm not saying that. I don't want to say this. But he offers you a lot as a reserve player. Because not only is he a swing guard, but he also can play backup center. So that saves you an extra roster spot. Because usually you have like a swing tackle and a swing guard, and a lot of times you'll need a separate backup center because playing center, it's the most unique position, right? But he's a guy that can play both guard spots and play the backup center spot. So that opens up an extra roster spot. So if you want to keep an extra wide receiver or keep an extra defensive lineman, we were running a lot of five-man fronts last year.
You talking about Parham, right?
Parham, yeah. We were running a lot of 5-man fronts last year on defense. So if you want to be able to keep an extra defensive tackle so you can, run those 3 defensive tackle interiors with 2 edge, like you can save a roster spot because he can be swing guard and be backup center. But I just think Meredith was the better player last year. Like Meredith, he played some good ball last year, and Parham did not.
Yeah, man, I don't know, man. I like Meredith as a backup, but I don't know if as a long-time starter. What does he look like in the run game? Long term, they want to run the football. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure if the starting left guard is on the roster, but I do like the fact that Parham could play all three positions. He's played center, he's played right guard, he's played left guard. Meredith, I think he has that level of versatility outside of center. I think they put him at both guard spots at some point, mostly at right guard. I think he came in for Parham at right guard or something like that. But we'll see, man. The Raiders playing at offensive line is kind of like, I don't know what, man.
You know who the OL coach is, right?
Oh, the great son of Pete Carroll, his son, Brandon Carroll.
Exactly. So we got questionable stuff going on the offensive line. We got a young guy just never coached the offensive line in the NFL. Put two and two together. But like I said, like Alex Kappa at right guard. I'm hoping that Caleb Rogers steps up. I'm hoping Caleb Rogers steps up and take that job. I mean, a lot of people are hoping that Alex Kappa can return to his form to when he was with Tampa Bay, but he hasn't been the same since his injury, and he's a little bit older. So I don't know if he's going to be able to recapture that form. And if not, we're going to have to depend on a young guy.
Yeah, I've seen people question like Caleb Rogers' like play strength to play guard. I'm like, damn. And then you got like obviously, you got the other guy we drafted at tackle, but he's more of a project. He's probably gonna be like, he's like a year or two away, at least. Yeah, man. After a linebacker, you could make a linebacker, interior offensive line, and corner. Those are probably the three position groups that I'm like, damn. Yeah. If we're being honest, like this does not look good at all. Like going into the season, it's tough. It's tough, but we'll see, man. Hey, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in at this point, clock out. Great show. Appreciate everybody coming through. If you haven't already, make sure to clock in. Like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification. We're going live on both our channels. We appreciate the support, appreciate the help of people coming through and supporting the show. Make sure to leave a comment, man. If you had any comments about the show, what you think about, some of the things that we talked about. Obviously, we had a couple of flags on a play from the Eagles touch push ban, or not their attempt to ban it. The Raiders being a part of that voting. Like, what do y'all think, man? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section. We read the comments. We appreciate the support. Severe, man, let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
You guys know what it is, man. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, on IG, on Snapchat, TikTok, X, all that good stuff. Usually Tuesdays is Tuesdays for me. I usually got the 50-50 show with my guy PharoahNFL on Tuesdays, as well as the Raider War Room with Chris from Protected Shield and 805 Raider. Sunday night I got the Raider War Room with those guys as well, Chris from Protected Shield and 805 Raider. And then we got Around the Shield. Usually that's on Thursday nights for the off season. During the season, we'll probably transition back to Friday nights, but for the time being, we're doing that thing live on Thursday night. So just be on the lookout for that. Also, going to be linking up with my guy, Dub Raider. If you guys haven't subbed to Dub Raider yet, make sure y'all check out Dub Raider. We'll be linking up with him sometime in the near future to do an interview over there on that channel. So be on the lookout for that. But if you haven't done so already, make sure y'all hit that sub button. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment, man. If you like what you saw today, share it with some Raider friends. Appreciate you, big dog. I'll make sure I return a favor, man, and check out some of your stuff, man. I'm always trying to support other content creators, man. I remember when I was thugging out, it was just me and Steve, man. That was my only sub, man, Steve. So I remember those days, bro. So I got to check out.
Hey, man, you funny as hell. All right, Coleman says, Packer fan Cam. I tune back. He said, I look like Cam Jordan. I'll tune back in. You're one of the most underrated, underappreciated football players. Oh man, people just y'all hilarious,
comedy,
bro.
man. You
comedy.
Kanye West and Cam Jordan, and I'm Jaden Daniels.
Anybody black with a goatee, man, they this just automatic, bro, automatic. But hey, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Been a great show. Like I said, make sure to clock in on the way out, which means hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We'll be back here soon, and yeah. That's why you want to hit that notification bell so be notified when we go live and drop new content. Yeah, man, Severe, any last thoughts before we head out?
Yeah, man, Trey Tucker ain't getting 700 yards. Trey Tucker not getting 700 yards.
You're not getting 700 yards? You don't see it?
Man.
You don't
maybe
see
on
it?
Madden. Maybe on Madden. Yeah. Trey Tucker ain't getting 700 yards on Madden, bro. If you get 700 yards with Trey Tucker, what offense are you running?
Maybe Gino closes his eyes and be like, hey, that's Tyler Lockett. You know what I mean? Maybe like, you know, it's possible. It's possible, you know, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see, man. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next time, man. Peace.
Just win, baby.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.